What's good? It's your boy vexyz, the lurking legend. Y'all can just call me Vex, head cook of the last arc, here with a lovely stream. I'm also monitoring. Give me just a second. There we go. Yeah, well, we are having a bit of a technical difficulties. My internet was kind of messing up because it's storming where I'm at. And then here we go. We just got our guest of honor. Real quick, I'm going to introduce the lovely individuals we have here cooking with us today. We've got the musician of the last arc. We've got Joshua Vythor. How you doing today, brother?
Yo, I'm good. Ready to cook.
Ready to cook, yeah. And I know you got a dip in about 2 hours because you're going to be doing some One Piece D&D in the TLA server. Everybody check the link in the description if you want to catch some of that. We also got the historian of the last arc, and I understand a big fan of our guest here. We got Kube of the Red Sea. How you doing today, bro?
Hey guys. Well, it's an understatement to say that I'm a big fan of Ors. His Joy Boy, his Nika Fury is one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing content on YouTube on One Piece. So,
Love to see it.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're all hype. I think one of the most hype individuals we have though on the whole crew, we've got the first mate of the last arc himself. We've got Den Kushi here with us today. Ready for some spice, right, brother? He's probably hanging out with his kid right now, dealing with that. But we're ready for you whenever you're ready, brother. And then we've also got our guest of honor, the man, the myth, the legend himself. We have the Wizard of Ors here with us. How you doing today?
What's up, guys? How are you guys doing?
Doing good, brother. Glad you can join us. I'm super excited.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we actually had a little poll going on in the chat while we were waiting and whatnot. So I wanted to ask you the question: have you seen Monsters yet, or no?
I read it, but I didn't watch the episode of it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either because I don't actually have Netflix. But we put a poll in the chat and we were like, "Who wins?" And it's Mihawk, Shanks, Ryuma, or Zoro. So who you got, bro?
Oh, Mihawk, Shanks. Oh man.
I know, right? It's we got
like power scaling wise, or like who do I like more?
It's power scaling, like swordsman, like ultimate swordsman contest here. So yeah.
I'm gonna probably have to go with Ryuma, honestly, just like because I would assume he had to be one of the strongest dudes in the Void Century, and I don't know. I feel like that dude was just built different, honestly.
Yeah, it seems so. I mean, if you get the title Sword God, again, I haven't seen Monsters. I've heard really good things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check it out when I can, but there's a lot of buzz about that. So I thought we would see how that poll goes. But yeah, we're super glad to have you on today. And we wanted to, we're going to make sure we do no 1105 spoilers, please, in the chat, if you guys would. Want to also shout out to some of the goats we've got in the chat. We've got Terrible TJ, we've got Reese Lucas, the Lonely Mage, Peanut Butter and Waivers, Miguel. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you check out the link for Orz's new channel in the description. And I also put his first video on that channel in the description if you want to go check out that spice. But yeah, if you were cool with it, we wanted to talk a little bit about like what you've got planned for the new channel.
Yeah, so for the new channel, it's pretty much like the same stuff that I was posting before, like I'm pretty much just planning theories. I'm gonna be honest though, I'm kind of planning on not posting the super long ones anymore because like now that I'm on my own channel, if I take like 2 or 3 months on a theory, I feel like that's just like way too long for anyone to watch. And I feel like, I don't know, on YouTube, I feel like you kind of have to like consistently post. So I feel like from now I'm gonna try to keep my videos around like the 20 minutes to 30 minutes, probably max, maybe 40 minutes if it's like a really good theory. But yeah, I'm just planning on I'm actually planning on pumping stuff out a little bit faster because I felt like at the end with Preach, I feel like I was just posting stuff. I was taking way too long on videos, and I feel like some of them were, I mean, I like the long ones a lot, and I know a lot of people also like them, but they just take so long. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning right now.
Yeah, and with YouTube, especially like you're super close already to getting monetized. So guys, let's get him to 1,000 today. Like, let's do that. But Well, with
Thank you,
monetization and like mid-roll ads, you want to, I think the sweet spot is like 17 to 33 and stuff like that. So like it's a good chunk to keep in mind as far as like, but that's hype as far as like really consistent uploads. And then I know you were doing reaction content as well. Well, like over on the Preach's channel and things. Are you going to continue to do some of that on your new channel?
Probably just not right now. I'm gonna try to do it like probably later on in the year, but not as of right now though.
All right, heard that. And then Kube, I know since you're such a huge fan, is there anything you had locked and loaded you wanted to ask our wonderful guest here?
Listen, I'm gonna say something, and it might sound crazy, but I want to thank for the Joy Boy and Nika theory, because on the whole cake, One Piece drive me crazy. I was saying, this is weird. It sounds like they're expecting something, and it's like, and it didn't make sense. And then when I saw your theory, I said, oh my god, now Skype makes more sense. And also, yeah, I just really honestly, it's I think that it's it's one of those nostalgias that you might like a cartoon when you're a kid. And even if you see some other stuff and then people might not like it, for me, like that theory for me, it'll be my top. So for sure, so honestly. Yeah, man,
Are you talking about the Oars one?
Yeah, the Oars one. So like I think it was at the beginning, it was like, I think even before Preach and You were just started up like 2-3 years ago, I think. I remember that one. Man, yeah, that one was
bro. That was a while ago, bro. That brings back memories.
Yeah, I know. That video was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly, bro, yeah, man.
Truly, hey, thank you, man. Thank you for loving the theory, bro. Like that's really the thing that keeps me going too, like with YouTube. Like when people either like comments or like when people just say like, at least like, even if they don't necessarily agree with it fully, at least if they say like, man, that was at least you put in the time, and like thank you for at least trying really hard with this one. Like those kind of comments and stuff, just that's like the reason I love YouTube so much, honestly, and why I love making the videos. So truly, thanks, man.
Yeah, then an advice, then don't go on Twitter. It's a different ballpark over there.
Yeah. But hey, there's a reason I don't have Twitter, man.
Same.
It's too much, bro.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I agree. But yeah, I did
It's
also
too much
like
time too.
Yeah, in that same vein, like a lot of people were getting caught up because they were knowing that there was something that was like 1044 was huge for a lot of individuals, and that's exactly when I caught up as well to the manga. And so like legitimately, like the Orz's Joy Boy was like one of the first theories I ever checked out when I was current. So yeah, I remember like whenever I was on with OPU over on Preach's channel and stuff like that, I was like, yo, it's crazy to like be here and stuff like that. But it's honestly like it's so good to have you on, brother, because it's like it feels like it's where my journey started, as far as like in the theory setting and YouTube and stuff like that. So super glad to have you on. We really appreciate it, man.
So happy to hear that. And one thing with the Orz's Joy Boy too, I was literally never planning on being a YouTuber until like I thought like, because I remember thinking of that theory, and the story with that was like, I told Preach first, and I was like, bro, because I was literally watching a Tekken video, and then I think he was talking about how like someone on Reddit made a theory that Onigashima was the actual Oars, like the actual continent pooler, and that he like lived in the Void Century or something. And I was watching a video on that, and the next thing you know, I'm starting to think, wait, like what if Oars was Joy Boy because didn't Oars wear a straw hat in Marineford and stuff? And then I started realizing like the parallels with the Thriller Bark and the Reverie. I was like, wait, Oars was literally introduced in the Giant Freezer. I was like, what if that's connected to the straw hat in the Giant Freezer in the Reverie arc? And then I remember literally calling Preach, and I was like, bro, like I think this theory actually could possibly be true, because I was like, there's a lot of evidence to it. And then he was like, dude, you have to make a video, because I think he was already a YouTuber, and I never even wanted to be a YouTuber at first, but I told him that, and he was like, dude, you have to make a video, because if you post it on Reddit, it's probably not going to get that much support or that much views, basically. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll make a video. And then literally just because of that one video, I became a One Piece YouTuber. So that's kind of how it all started in the first place. So it's pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it happened. Den, how you hanging in there? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Hello,
Yeah, well, you're
everyone.
good. You're good. You're
Hello,
good.
TLA. Ors, absolute. I'm not sure if you know. You probably don't, but I'm a massive fan. Like, from like day. Like, I think Preacher was on like what 2.2k or something when you dropped Ors' Joy Boy or something. And I'm just a big fan of like the way you, all your stuff really, like the way you put your stuff together. So I'm trying to keep it cool, but these lot know that this is definitely a big one for me to have you here. So thank you for coming.
Thank you too, bro.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
What are we cooking anyway?
Sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the poll. So it looks like Ryuma won with 38%, guys. By the way, as far as like what the chat is thinking.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, you picked the fan favorite. It seems, Ors.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
I picked Zoro just for the sympathy. It's raw core.
He said sympathy. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. But
That's fair,
yeah,
though.
I know that you I watched Preach's live stream talking about like how you're going to be doing your own thing and whatnot. So everybody, please again make sure that you go subscribe to Ors' new channel. He said in there that you guys have like a 3-part something planned. Do you want to give us maybe a little bit of the inside scoop on that, whatever you can?
Yeah, so we kind of talked it over too, and it actually might be more than 3 parts, because like that's why I
Ooh.
said like the big theories, I don't know if I want to do them because they just take so much time, honestly. And the theory might end up being like a total of, I would say, probably around 5 videos, and then we're gonna just merge them all into one. The final one will probably be on his channel to post, because we started it on his channel anyways. So I was like, it's cool. Like I don't really I don't mind, honestly. But yeah, the first video to that was, I don't know if any of you guys saw, but it was the video on Mu and the Ancient Kingdom and stuff that I posted. That was, I think that was the first or second part. And then the other part that he posted was the Esteban Child of the Sun video, and that was also, that's either the first or the second. I don't know which order they go in, but those are the only ones that we posted so far. And yeah, the next parts are gonna be on, because there's a lot more on the Moose stuff that I didn't talk about with Atlantis, and like there was an entire story on that with like a great flood that like pretty much like destroyed Mu or something. So I was thinking that's probably tied to like the Ancient Kingdom and a great flood that happened in One Piece. And I think Dak already talked about that too a little, but it was kind of just gonna expand on stuff like that and the Void Century. I know one of my parts, I don't know, because Preach's part, he didn't really explain everything to me what he's gonna talk about. I know it's about like the Sunlight Eve tree or something about devil fruits.
Ooh.
But then my next video will be on, it's gonna be on like the Fishman and Nika. I think the sun god Nika originated from like the Fishman or something, and that theory is also gonna be pretty good. I could talk about it here a little if you guys want, but I mean, actually, I have to pull up my notes for that one, but that video should be coming out soon. And yeah,
No, yeah,
it's gonna pretty much be like 5 parts though.
If you're down, I mean, we are totally happy to let you cook, but it's really your call, bro.
Yeah, just give me a sec to find the notes, because
No
I've been
sweat,
having this
yeah.
theory for a long time.
We can tie you over until then. Don't worry.
Yeah, because that move.
Congrats on.
Oh, go ahead,
I
bro.
was just gonna say, congrats on the last, on the first vid as well, on the fresh channel. Like, it popped pretty. It was moving steady at first, but then it popped. So I'm real happy that you've got the 16k at the moment, or 17 or whatever it is, on the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you, bro.
pretty
Thank
big
you.
for a
Yeah.
first video. That's really good. like on a channel. I know
forgot,
you've
like,
done
how hard
content
it is at
before, but yeah.
first, too. Yeah.
But yeah, that
I
move.
forgot how hard it is to like get it going. At
Oh,
first.
for
it's
sure,
been a while.
for sure.
It's been a while since you've had like
Yeah.
your own channel, right? Like,
Yeah.
But chat, if y'all haven't seen that Continent of Mu video, like that's the whole reason why we named the stream what we named it, because like I'm fully convinced like that it's really really crazy, like all the connections that were made in that, and it's really good. Like I highly recommend it if you guys haven't. So after the stream, make sure you go check out this dude's whole back catalog, because it's a lot of great stuff.
I was
Thank
reading
you,
the panels today, actually, the chapters today where Emu addresses herself or themselves as Mu. So yeah, it's spicy stuff, and I think so many people are wrapped up with Egghead at the moment, rightly so, that I don't think people are ready for how quickly some of that stuff's going to drop. You know, we're probably going to get some reveals, Elbaf, I'm thinking. Or,
Maybe.
And I'll say this, like, even someone who has never heard about, let's say he hasn't seen that Fury will see it, like, it does make sense that you think in One Piece, the amount of underground civilization there is, you know, Wano, even under Marineford, there was an underground passageway, you know, Impel Down had his own, you know, tunnels, like, yeah. So like, that's why for me, because we were talking about similar stuff and didn't know about this book. So when I saw the Fury, I said, yeah, man, I believe it to some huge extent, because it would explain a lot of the stuff that we see in the One Piece world. Just building over into something else, you know?
Yeah,
it's pretty
man.
comprehensive.
Yeah, I remember I actually read that book before I even caught up to One Piece, and I remember once I caught up, I was like, wait, this is like this seems like almost exactly like the book. I was like, there's no way though. And then I remember rereading it because I was just gonna check up on it, like just maybe, especially because I was making videos, so I was like, maybe I can make a video on this, and I was like, holy cow, bro! Like this is like word for word, almost like exactly what the Kingdom of Mu is described to be. And the thing that I remember that convinced me the most, at least, was how we always see the sun logo with like the 8 circles around it, or like 8, like, you guys know what I'm talking about, like the 8.
Oh yeah, that's Denden's bread and butter. He's seen that everywhere. He sees it. He sees it on cereal boxes, and he's just like, "Oh my god, this is connected." Yeah.
Yeah, that one for me, because when I was like, bro, that's literally the exact same thing as Mu, the exact symbol that they used. I was like, bro, there's no way. And then I was like, wait, really? This kingdom was called the Empire of the Sun. I was like, there's no way there's no way One Piece isn't at least somewhat based on this. And that's what did it for me, honestly.
There's a few things like that we've spoken about in TLA before. Like, and I'm bringing this up semi as a meme because it's the one we always bring up, and it's not the deepest one. But when I like rewatched Lost, I was like, oh, this is really similar. Like, and then as it went on, I was like, oh, a lot of this is really, really similar. And then by the end, I was like, oh, it's just because Oda's probably seen Lost. But yeah, like there's some really strange one-to-one connections with like other media.
Hey, real quick, guys. I just wanted a real quick shout out to, we got the Navigator of the Last Arc 3-day trip, the true linking legend, in the chat. We appreciate you. We love you, 3-day. Thank you so much. We also got John Sherrod on all social media. What's good, JJ? Much love for the OPU crew. But yeah, go ahead, Cube. I'm sorry. I just had to shout out some goats.
No, I was gonna say, it's like for me, when I come from a francophone country, and a book we had to read, and we had to study for so many years. I don't know why. The Little Prince. And then, a few months ago, I speak to Denden, and when I was tech about the stuff, is Little Prince is this little boy that goes through planet on an asteroid that's a spaceship, and meets 5 men who each tell him, and he finally goes to the 6th planet, which is which in our solar system, the 6th planet is Saturn. And if you look, just the symbolism of those 5 men, they're the Gorosei. Like, they represent each, like, what the Gorosei represent. Like, one of them is a guy that wears a suit. One of them wants to own the world. One of them turns on the light, the dawn and the dusk. And another one decides which light to activate and which one to turn off. And they're the ones basically telling the Little Prince, who is in love with a flower, to go to this planet. And he meets the animals over there. Like, it has nothing else in One Piece, but you could see that there was some interesting inspiration for the Gorosei, with it.
Yeah, you hear Little Prince's name come up a lot in literature and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I'll say this.
You said there's 5 of them too?
Yeah, there are 5 of them. And what's interesting is what's interesting is, and I showed that to Dak at the time, and even he was like blown, is the planets are all like B something, like B300 something. And if you go into it, the cover stories are just cover stories of the Mary. Like at one point, the Mary's on the train track in space, And then it's all about his mole gang Fury, where it's the dirt boss. Which is those are the chapters of where they talk about Pluton and then it's nothing around those time, which is interesting, of all things.
Man.
And it's a boy who is on an asteroid that acts like a spaceship, which is very interesting. So he's using, a spaceship that's not a spaceship. You should check it out, Little Prince. And what's interesting about it is, at the time it was released, it was one of the most sold books and translated books, and almost surpassed the Bible. And you know how much the Bible comes in one piece, which I find interesting. And Little Prince kind of looks like a young Sanji.
Dude.
He's a blonde young kid with a bob, similar to Sanji when he was a kid. So yeah, it's like so. That's why I love that fear of yours, because I do believe Oda loves inspiration from novels like that.
For sure. Yeah, that sounds. He definitely got something from that. Like, I would agree with that.
Yeah, there's a load of like big and small media that you see in One Piece. But I was gonna say, quick Vex, have you mentioned no spoilers for the people watching and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've got it pinned in chat. So, and we brought it up at the very beginning. We want to make sure there's no spoilers for 1105. We have not read it yet. Well, some of us are into spoil. I have not read it yet, and I don't think Gores has either. So let's please make sure we're very courteous about that, folks, as well as like the stream while I'm announcing things, and make sure you go sub to Orz's new channel and check out that first fire video. It's so good. I'm done shilling. Sorry.
Yeah, with that in mind, Oz, tell us please, like, what's your thoughts on Egghead? Like, is it popping or is it not?
It's popping, bro.
Yeah.
I love Egghead so much. Yeah.
No.
Why? What do you guys think?
Bro.
Yeah, I think it slaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Week to week, it's probably one of the most giving arcs.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. After Wano, I didn't know if I would hate someone more than Orochi. Then they introduced Saturn, and I'm sorry, I am waiting for his quick demise. I am sorry. The dude is, oh my god, the dude is despicable. That's all I'm gonna say.
For real.
The punch.
For real.
Yeah, there's some villains that are done so well. I'm just like, yo, I really want to see more from this person. Like, I really can't wait for Doflamingo to come back. This is a villain. I'm like, no, get him out of here. Absolutely not.
Seriously. For real.
Dude is heinous.
No, yeah. I'm just waiting on who's gonna be the guy. It's probably gonna be Luffy, but like, I feel like at this point we're just waiting on who's gonna be the one to like end him or possibly even kill him.
It's probably gonna be
out of every.
either the Blackbeard or Dragon.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I love both of those potentialities, but that is so crazy, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
for real.
I think Dragon is a possibility personally, without getting too deep into it. Definitely. But it is pretty wild. Like, obviously you've got just some of the Straw Hats going hand to hand, kind of. So and they're not doing too bad. So it could be maybe a Straw Hat, like you say, like Luffy.
Honestly, I've already said it. I said it. I think ever since there was this possibility for us that Saturn will die in this arc. I said whoever's gonna kill him. I feel like when there's gonna have a picture of the Saturn's dead body, Usopp will just appear on that picture, and he's gonna be blamed for it. They're gonna say,
I love that. I absolutely love that.
I feel like it's gonna be like it's gonna happen. Usopp's gonna be in the picture, and they're gonna assume it's God. Usopp did it. Took out a Gorosei.
Bro, and then they go to Elbaf, and then everyone's like, and then all the Elbaf dragons are worshiping Usopp.
Dude, yeah.
The hero of the Egghead incident, sort of thing. Like.
No, I was literally gonna say as a meme, like, guys, it's clearly gonna be Usopp, but I like what Kube said better. Is if he just like gets like framed with it, he's just like, bro, it's
so
perfect.
It's like a lot of the times, it's like people talk about God Usopp. Oh yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say that's Buggy's whole vibe. So I mean, like, Buggy might even pop up and take a bit of fame as well.
For real.
It's like people like to talk about how when he was God Usopp, he basically framed up to be like the main culprit for Doflamingo. But think about it, even Luffy's first bounty picture, he was in the frame. Like, you think about it, Usopp always finds himself somewhere filmed. So yeah, I could see Usopp being blamed for it.
Bro, everyone is talking about all those matchups for the final war. I just want to see Buggy versus Usopp.
That's too powerful. Too powerful. They're gonna fracture the world. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, legitimately,
they're not gonna split the skies. split the world, bro.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But legitimately, I think that like my favorite take on it is probably Blackbeard, just because I think that would just be like the ultimate setup for like because this is still like kind of like the introduction to the final saga, right? Like we barely got. I think it's gonna keep going for a lot longer. I think personally we have a lot more of Egghead still, but especially when it comes to like One Piece in general, I think there's still so much more to cook on. This is just appetizers for the final saga. You know what I mean?
That's facts, yeah. I actually think too, like, I think Luffy will, like, if Blackbeard, if a Blackbeard pirate ends up killing him, I would think like Luffy would still be the one probably to defeat him, and like knock him out or something. But then Blackbeard or whoever it is gonna end up actually like killing him, or maybe even trying to like take his fruit or something.
Yeah, I think that
imagine
like
Blackbeard with the spider legs.
that'd be
Yeah.
crazy, and like it does fit with the 8 because he has 8 like skull and crossbones points on his flag, and like I know Threevil had the octopus or kraken theory, and you know, but like 8 is also related to spiders potentially, but I don't know. I'm still kind of not convinced fully that it's a devil fruit. But if he were to take something from a Gorosei, he could take the authority chip and control the Seraphim like over Egghead, because we saw like why else would he show us specifically the whole hierarchy, right? So I've been on that train for quite a while, and it would be really fitting for I think Blackbeard's whole agenda is if he was like, oh cool, let's take out a Gorosei, and then not only that, to weaken the world government, but also let's just steal like this giant superpower that's supposed to replace the warlords. Now they don't have it and I do. You know, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That's definitely something Blackbeard would try to do too, because like we saw, I mean, he already became a warlord just for his whole plan setup, and like I feel like he's definitely the type of guy to actually plan something like that out. So yeah, like for me, I always say like Blackbeard's there to take something, because like, you know, this guy doesn't just do stuff just for the hell of it. He always has like some sort of scheme or some sort of plan to like,
and he
somehow make him a lot
recognized
stronger. So
yeah, and on Amazon Lily, like when he saw Hawk, he recognized what a Lunarian's power is. So I'm sure he's just like, ooh, I want that. Like he has to. Like I don't know. That's my headcanon though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy you brought it up, because if you think about it, he wasn't shocked by the Lunarian, but what shocked me that it was a pacifista. So there is something really intrigued him, something he was not expecting to see in Amazon Lily. So I do agree with you guys there that it has to be connected. And also, I always say that if at one point he wants to go after Gorosei, they're always all the 5 together. This is the best opportunity he can have to go after one of them. He's separate from the other 4.
True.
You know? Because there's something that
he would also want to take the Gorosei too, like how he kind of took Kobe. Like that would just be insane if he did something like that.
Yeah,
actually he has. Go
and
Joshua.
Garp don't have devil fruits. The Gorosei maybe have. So I think he would just try to kill them.
No, but also he has the means. He also has the means to think about it. What if it's a crazy plan? What if he wants to take out Saturn, but make him disappear and have Captain Devon pose as Saturn somewhere?
Bro, that's
he
crazy.
doesn't need to go to Marijoa, but if he would go to anywhere that's world government affiliated, he can have any kingdom open the doors at this year Gorosei.
That's insane. Yeah, I was thinking that like instead of Blackbeard himself actually showing up, because we're not sure on the timelines with like the whole Winter Island situation and stuff like that. What if like Lafitte and Katarina Devon, the 2 most likely suspects, are the ones that are there, but she just like looks like Blackbeard, so it still hits the papers like it's if Blackbeard took down a Gorosei, you know, like so that actually fits perfectly with that Cube.
Oh man.
Yeah. Because to think about it, it's also what he did with in Marineford in Impel Down. He came in a marine ship, and he was then a Shishibuka, so they were a bit confused, and then he attacked. So it could be something like it's true, like looking like a Gorosei. You don't need to go to Marijoa, because that would be a risk with the Gorosei and Eam. Obviously, I'm sure in an instant Eam would know that something's off, considering how that crazy power. But let's say you're able to go to Alabasta, and they would just open the doors and have every one of them, like the Blackbeard pirates, posing as workers, help him up. Basically the Flamingo, the way he entered, his men just walked in the castle because they were invited in.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw how like they were just like straight up just barking orders at the Marines, like, "Yo, anyone below Commodore, look away." Like people just listen whenever this dude's around, like, or they get their freaking head blown off. So like, yeah, it would be like even if you just like had Katarina Devon like shape shifting into him, it's still ridiculously powerful. But I think if it is a devil fruit, they would probably want that. But I don't know. I'm not really under the impression like, Ors, what do you think is going on with like Emu and the Gorosei's powers? If you wanted to cook on that, do you think they are devil fruits?
I'm honestly like 50-50 with it, because I mean, at least I think Vegapunk one time said like, oh, it has to be devil fruit powers, and I will say this too, like, if it is, it's obviously an awakened Zoan, and the thing that it really seems like a devil fruit sometimes, like when Saturn first comes up as a spider, everyone notices him, everyone's like, yo, like, what is that? Like, we see everyone's heads turn to him, and that's like almost the same exact thing that we saw with when Luffy awakened into Nika. Everyone was like, yo, like what is that? Like, is that Luffy? And I feel like maybe if it is that kind of, or at least that kind of makes me think it is a devil fruit, just because like it's like literally the same exact thing that happened with Luffy when two people went into their awakening zones. So, but then you also have like the whole magic circle thing, so I honestly don't know. Like, that's why I say it's 50-50, because that's something we've never seen. So yeah.
Do you think, have you got any thoughts on the fact that like no one could move around Saturn, but when Sabo was in front of them, Sabo could move freely, and seemingly Cobra too? Yeah,
Cobra stood up. Like he like that's True. He was in a wheelchair, and then he could all of a sudden get like, that's the craziest thing. Like,
that's why no one else. That's why the Straw Hats couldn't move, because Cobra had taken all their juice out of them.
Oh my goodness.
Sure, that's the. There's also something actually. Go, or I'll go afterwards. No worries.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say because I saw yesterday Chestnut made a short. And what's interesting in this discussion is she analyzed the scene where it was it was last week's chapter where Saturn gets back up. The flames comes out of him, which is interesting. It looks like it's literally coming out, which is interesting. It seems like, and she said like, what if it's like something the eyes are devil fruit, or it's something ain't more older? You know what I mean? More primordial.
Bruh.
I think I did see that show, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching Par's live, insane, and when Par got to the panels where he started regenerating, he's like, what is Schloop? Schloop, have we seen that before? And like, I'm just like, bruh, my brother. Like, it was hilarious. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that is definitely something to think about, though. Like I said, like, everything's telling us there's something more, at least. Even if it is a devil fruit, there's still something added on top of it at the very least. So yeah, because like he's not a Logia. So with how you said with the fire stuff, I don't know, man. That's got to be something like some other magic power that we haven't seen yet.
I agree. I think there might be more than one power, or more than one like aspect or dimension to it.
Yeah, I think there's actually only one thing which for me actually makes sense, and it can make sense when you think of how Luffy learned how to use his fruit throughout the years we've seen. It could be then him knowing exactly what he is. Because Luffy, if you think about it, Luffy always thought he was the Gomu, but then we found out he has the Nika Nika no Mi. But in a sense, like, we've seen with Momo, the moment he had his fruit, he was turning it to a dragon. Like, maybe he knew something, he had heard something about that fruit. But Luffy only had the rubber thing. It's only when he went later on that all those other stuff added up. And then we see Robin and Wano showing other features. But they're going with a very rustic, very simple definition of their fruits. So what if the Gorosei know the full scale like of his abilities? Because that explains why it's he has that easiness. It's a bit like when you know 100% of your own body. That's basically the description of life return.
It's also, it goes in with Bonnie's devil fruit explanation that he gave us, is like, your devil fruit plays on like potential futures, but the more you know of your current future, the less potential futures you have. So like, yeah, knowledge of a fruit's power, I think definitely does. And like, I do One Piece D&D and stuff like that, and that's something I take into consideration as well, as like, okay, do you know you're eating a devil fruit right now and stuff like, because we have to take like everything into consideration in a situation like that. And like I think that that's like part of the reason why Sabo was so proficient right away with what he had going on in the Karaita Coliseum when he got the fruit. Sabo was instantly able to do just like crazy cracked ass shit with it because he knew what he was getting into. Whereas there's people who don't even know they have devil fruits in Wano. And so you see like, Kinemon with his fruit, with his like, he doesn't even call it a fruit. He calls it like a technique, like a jutsu.
Yeah.
So
Vex, you're right on something because think what happened to Sabo after he did the thing in Coliseum. He thought he was burning. Then he said, "Oh no, it's just in my mind. It doesn't burn."
yeah,
His glove was burning. He said, "It's in my mind." So it is true. It could be something of the power of the mind. Like if you think that you're burning, you might feel the effect. But what if you know everything? It could be the opposite. So I think it has to be one of the components. Knowledge.
It definitely gives like an echo of the whole like fruit name vibe that we heard. Like if you take a fruit, then you learn its name, and then the protagonist obviously did not learn its name. So
that's what
that is
Lucci
interesting.
said.
The knowledge might affect your capacity.
Yeah, that's what Lucci said. But again, like somebody who is that into like I guess the world government affairs and things like that, like might have just been spoon fed to that to the point that like upon eating the fruit, that's just what they had. That was their like preconceived notion. So maybe that's what manifested for them. But Luffy had no idea. So I think like the knowledge that you have beforehand, I think really affects the experience. I'm not sure. And I haven't read the Ace light novel, but like apparently like Deuce and Ace both like tried to take bites at the same time, and Ace just like digested it first, which is why he got the fruit.
No, pretty much Ace eat the fruit first, wasn't the same time.
The bite, he takes a bite like a second before him.
But like, did they know like what fruit it was, or did they just like, yo, this is a devil fruit? Let's just f around and find out.
They just wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So I mean, but it's. I don't know. I think that like with the Nika situation, I think that's not the only time where like the fruit might have like not given like the actual proper name, and my whole thing is I think that all the everything we see in the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia, I think that stuff's all propaganda, but that's again like a big rabbit hole in my own head canon.
But that also would explain Blackbeard, why he's so good with the Yami. Remember what he said to Ace? I know that fruit by heart. I studied every fruit. It could explain that unfair advantage. He might but since he knew so much about it before he ate it, whatever he gets, it's like 100%, unfiltered information.
Yeah. So, Ors, do you think that if it is an awakened Zoan, do you think it's like another like god or like maybe demon type, like the reverse of a god, but like a Luffy level, like a mythical Zoan?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Like that's why I said like if it is a mythical Zoan god or devil fruit, like actual devil, and it's an awakening, that could like maybe it's just his specific powers that are basically just doing the impossible, like what or at least what we would consider impossible. And what you guys were saying too about like devil fruits, I kind of have a weird take on it too with Luffy, at least, like. Because I don't think Luffy still knows that he's a Zoan. I think he still knows, or I think he still thinks he's a Paramecia.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking about this for a while, like, because when he's fighting Kaido, Kaido's like, you look like you're giving things that like a Zoan would give when they awaken, but you're also doing things that Paramecia do. And I was thinking, maybe it's just like, he thinks he's a Paramecia, and since we know that Nika can pretty much just do anything he wants, I was thinking, what if since he thinks he's a Paramecia, like he like genuinely does think it, what if that's why he's able to do Paramecia things?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Like the rubbery Nika might just like have a rubbery sort of train of thought or like a mind. Like, yeah, that's interesting.
Because I was thinking maybe that's like, I mean, he could literally do anything, so his dreams, like what he wants to do is like he's basically just doing it as what a Paramecia awakening would be. And he also saw Katakuri awaken, so I don't know, I think there's something connected with that.
It's interesting because we were talking the other day with Middleway about Chopper, and Chopper's a Hito, and we were saying very similar stuff, is that like Chopper's fruit has probably more to give. It's just restricted by his own like what he thinks and his, you know, nature, nurture, and stuff like that. So that's interesting because obviously they're both Hitos. So yeah, for
sure.
If that
Also-
might be the case, they might be able to go through.
What if it's about belief? What he knows about his food? Like, if he thinks it's a rubber, right? He might be just be getting the rubber component in the awakening. But if he
That's what
knows
was
he's
saying. He's
Nika.
getting-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
this
Okay,
also
I
goes
understand.
back. This also
Okay.
goes back to like how he ended up getting his hands on the fruit in the first place, and like what Shanks said to him in the very beginning. And Shanks also specifically seemed to have sought this fruit out. So do you think Shanks knew it was the Nika fruit, but he told Luffy that it was the Gomu on purpose? And if you do, because I know you've got some spicy Shanks takes, with that
Yeah.
first video on your new channel. I really liked it, so I just wanted to pick your brain on that. Do you think Shanks kind of set this up way from the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've also seen that. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have too. Like that, he may have been trying to give it to Ace, but I'm not so like. I think that's like a 50-50 chance. But yeah, I think at the very least, maybe he didn't know it was called the Nika fruit, like because that actually might just be erased from history. But we saw, I think, recently with Kuma that it's like rumored that Nika was a like a rubber man, or that he had like rubber powers. They either say rubber or gum. I don't remember exactly what they say.
It said
But they
rubber.
say something like that. So it's rubber, yeah. So Shanks may be stealing the rubber fruit. He's thinking this has to be like something connected to Nika at the very least. And I mean, he already, I don't know if I guess maybe he didn't know at that point that Luffy had the same dream as Roger, but I think he at least set up something, man. Like, I think he genuinely did try to make Luffy into Nika, for sure.
I think it's Lockdown where Luffy says, like, I ate the fruit of the Gun tree or something like that. So it's like someone told him that, you know.
I think it was earlier than that, because Oda originally planned for there to only be like one devil fruit, which was the Gomu Gomu. Not like one version, like or only one version, but like multiple Gomu Gomus. But then he like changed it. He wasn't planning on there being like the Ito, the Hito, and like all these other devil fruits. There was originally just going to be Gomu Gomu no Mis, but multiple of them apparently.
I think it's on Alvida ship. I
Yo.
think he said it to Kobe.
Yeah, and so like
I'm not sure.
That would make it cool.
it was by Orangetown whenever he introduced the Bara Bara no Mi that he had already switched his original intentions from the Romance Dawn stuff. But originally in Romance Dawn, there was only one type of devil fruit, and it was like Gomu Gomu no Mis for days. That's all there was.
Whoa,
Which is crazy.
bro.
Yeah, that's
I did not know
crazy.
that. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah. Dang, dude.
But yeah, he
That-
switched it
okay.
up like apparently really early on.
Man. Yeah.
There's also something it could be similar, you know, the whole Kiros thing. They forgot about Kiros the person, but they remembered about his accomplishments. That's why the statue, and they knew he was a gladiator for 100 years ago. What if he just knew about the Joy Boy component, Nika component, but did not know much about the fruit? So when he heard the rubber fruit, he assumed that was the name of the fruit. And it could also be that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I've cooked
You know, 'cause I
on
do-
Sure.
like I've also cooked on the fact that like what if, I don't know, like the thing is that like there's also the coincidence that the Yami and the Hito no Mi mythical model Nika, or the Gomu Gomu, look ridiculously similar. And then Vegapunk even said that the fruit, like Luffy's fruit, the Gomu Gomu, wasn't in the old encyclopedias. So like the coincidence is like, I'm like, was Shanks actually looking for the Gomu Gomu, or was he looking for maybe something else? Like, was he actually looking
The
for the
swirls
Yami
on-
Yami?
The swirls on one are clockwise and the swirls on the other are anti-clockwise, but I'm not sure if Shanks would know the details like that. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who's Who definitely, Who's Who stated explicitly, like, why would somebody want a shitty rubber fruit? So I'm guessing that's strongly implied Shanks knew something. Like,
Yeah, I was also gonna say
For
add to the mystery, because I like the whole Yami and the are so similar. Buggy the bar also looks is purple. It's a purple fruit that he ate.
Oh man.
Was it
Yeah.
more like
Interesting.
orange?
It was a
No,
little bit more.
basically-
Well, there were two different artworks for it. Yeah, that's what Cube was about to say. It's a little taller though. It's not as round as the other two.
Yeah, it's a pineapple.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
quite a
it has the color.
pineapple, but it's not
Yeah.
quite a pineapple, but it's kind of like it. But yeah, it's
Similar
like, yeah, but it's like I like, my whole thing is like
Marco
maybe
agrees.
Yeah. Maybe like maybe Blackbeard was actually looking for the Gomu the whole time, but he found the Yami instead. Or maybe Shanks was looking for the Yami and found the Gomu instead. Because like, why else would they be so similar looking? There's got to be some sort of plot convenience there. Like Oda's not gonna just like do that on accident. You know, I don't know, but maybe that's just me.
I completely think they're like tied. They're twins or something. Like we've never seen in the story two fruits that like share a relationship like this. So I think it's definitely intended.
Do you guys think the Yami is a Zoan then too, or still Logia?
For sure.
I don't think it's a Logia. I don't know. I think it'd be funnier if it was actually a Paramecia, because Luffy thinks he's a Paramecia the whole time and turns out being like a mythical Zoan, and then this guy thinks he's a Logia. And Logias were originally painted to be the most potent form of devil fruit pre-time skip. So if this dude thought he was like on the top of the food chain and like the apex and stuff like that, and then we find out he's just a Paramecia, you know, I think that would be the funniest for me. But I don't know. But it's too wonky to be a Logia, in my opinion. I'm fully bought in. It's not.
Yeah, he has to be one of the other god fruits there is in the series.
I think I would got through. Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at that either. Definitely.
Yeah, like I say always, in the Skype, there were mentioned 4 gods. I think Blackbeard is the god of the rain, or his fruit is. Yeah.
I could see it being, I could definitely see it being a god fruit, especially because the weirdest thing with that one is that like he's not like a Logia when, like, you know how you can basically just punch through a Logia, like you can't really do that with Blackbeard. At least we haven't seen someone punch through him like that. And I think I've seen like a theory on that where it's like technically the reason Blackbeard can't if he's a Logia, right, the reason he can't move the way Logias do is because like the sun's always on him or light's always on him, and like he's technically darkness. But I don't know, I still feel like if lava is surrounded by Kuzan, I feel like he's still just ice, so it's not really like, it might melt him a little, but he still is ice at the end of the day, and he'll still be able to move like ice.
That is like massive, personally. Oh, sorry, I cut out. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And also,
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, I was just saying that, like, basically, like, the fact that dragon, like, the more we get closer to it, the more I'm starting to think that whatever dragon's power is, it covers the sun. Like, it's cloudy, like we saw in Logtown. And if Blackbeard is in a situation where the sun is blocked, I do think something like that might be right, that we'll see him access his true ability for his devil fruit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say is also the definition explanation to Blackbeard to Ace. I might not be intangible, but I become more resistant. For me, that's a Zoan perk, not a Logia perk. You know, like it's weird. He even phrases it. I become tankier. Like, why do you have to mention you get physically stronger? That's a Zoan perk.
Oh yeah, that's true. Ooh.
We've spoken a lot as well about where are all these black holes go? Like, where does the vortex go? Like, why is there gravity pulling these people in? It's interesting. There might be someone on the other side.
Yeah. Also, when I think about the symbolism of those fruits, the sun represents the hope that lies beyond the dawn, and I think Blackbeard's fruit represents that storm that is in almost every arc that blocks the sky. Like in Wano, it always blocked the moon, and I think the moon symbolizes hope.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this is why I think Blackbeard is the god of the rain.
Nice. Yeah, I know you've got some really good god fruit theories. I put a poll in chat, guys, if y'all want to make sure y'all vote really quick. What type of devil fruit does Blackbeard have? So make sure y'all go check that out real quick, and I'll close that once we get a little bit more votes on that. But it seems like most people are thinking Zoans or Zoan.
Yeah, or I have a think that's my personal head canon on Blackbeard's, like his darkness. I prefer thinking that it's not the gravity, but it's more deep sea, the darkest place on Earth. That's why it would affect the fruit user that way, you know. It basically, yeah, you know, like think about it. It's not really gravity. It's weird gravity. That's a weird gravity.
That's good,
yeah.
dude.
Oh, also, the attacks had water in the name. His attack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blackwater.
So the rain god plays the deep sea. The deep sea rain. That's why I like the rain god idea of Josh. Because it would make sense that the god of rain has some sort of effect on the deep sea. or
That's-
something like that. The
Yeah,
water
that's
component.
true.
You know? Something, symbolism.
Actually, with those 4 gods, I actually have like a completely different take on it. Honestly, like it, because I have a theory probably coming out like sometime on the new channel, probably in like a few months. But I think the 4 gods are just, I think it's just Luffy and then the 3 ancient weapons. Because let me think, the 4 gods are what? The earth, the rain,
Forest.
and
The
Forest.
forest.
oh, the forest. The
And the
forest.
There's one more.
Wait, what are
and
they
the
again?
sun god. Earth, rain, forest, and sun. Yeah.
Earth, rain. Yeah, so like for the earth, I think that one's probably Pluton, and then I think the sun is obviously Nika, and then
Well,
the rain in the
Poseidon.
forest, I think the rain would obviously be Poseidon, and then I think the forest would actually be connected to Uranus or something, because it's kind of like a stretch honestly with this one, but like the forest is obviously like plants and stuff, and that's kind of connected to the air, so I don't know. I feel like it's
Actually,
maybe connected
no,
to Uranus.
I have
but-
something. I might have something for you.
Yeah.
Jaya, when they're looking for the southbird, the southbird could affect every wild animal in the forest with fry. Remember Nami and
Oh.
Sanji? Then we got a reveal of Sanji being scared of spiders.
Well, I mean,
So
it
yeah,
could.
there is this.
It could also be that Uranus is the rain one because rain comes from the sky, and then if Poseidon is the forest one, because we even see the sea forest, which potentially could be the biggest actual forest on the, because it could, we don't know how far that thing stretches out, right? Like,
True. And doesn't
But I
she
don't
also
know.
want to see like a forest or something, like with Luffy, right? Like out in like the like outside of the water. She wants to see something, right?
I forget.
Like,
I really
forgot what it
forget.
was.
I forget so much about Fishman Island. I'm not even gonna lie. I need to read it. Like,
If I remember correctly, for me, I think I call it the Little Mermaid dream. I think it felt like. I think if I remember, so she wants to be part of the other world, type of thing. See the rest of the world.
Mhm.
I don't remember clear because I know it was there was something specific at one point she told Luffy, and he promised her, but I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot what it was too exactly.
I mean, it's not as simple as the sun, because I mean, she's been to the surface, she went to reverie and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's like it's something a little bit more specific than that. Yo, shout out to the captain of the last arc, Straw Hat Lucas, in the chat. We want to say we're so glad that you're having a good time with your little baby girl on her birthday. Shout out to Dak in the chat too. Oh my goodness, he said, "Have we liked the stream?" Like goats upon goats. But yeah, shout out to Straw Hat Lucas's daughter, whose birthday it is today. That's why he couldn't be here. I know he would have loved to cook with you, Oris, but yeah, we call him Big Dad because he's got just a ton of kids. But
Oh,
One for each day of the year.
it's all good though. It's all good.
one for each day of the year is wild.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Birthdays all year
Actually,
round.
so I have actually a question, and I said it for everyone. For in Egghead, if you have like one character in which you were very happy with how he was portrayed in this arc, who would it be?
Kuma.
Flashback and Kuma.
Oh, for sure. For
Kuma, yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, it was be Kuma, but I'm gonna add because I will say this: I bring up that character so much because when that character was introduced, we did not know that person has really lived a life. Ivankov, gotta give it to Ivankov.
That's a
real
good one
one.
too. Yeah, that's a really good answer.
Marineford,
Real
Impel
one.
Down, God Valley, like Ivankov has lived a life.
For real.
Yeah. Yeah, Kuma. Yeah, Kuma. It's true. Kuma. Give it up for Kuma.
There's been
honestly.
quite a few blow ups. Like if you take Stussy and Lucci got slapped about, but there's been some cool blow ups.
I mean, what's your favorite though, Den? As if you had to pick one portrayal in this arc that you had to choose that hasn't already been said, at least.
Obviously, Kaku. Obviously, no.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying. For me now, is frankly, the more I look, the more I see. Like, I really didn't think he was getting the love, but the more I look, the more I see it's just going to happen. He's going to get that purple fruit, and then and then I can rest easy. I can die. So yeah, that's my choice.
For those of you not entirely in the loop, go check out the Den's video on his channel. Links in the description to his channel on the Frankie gets the paw theory. It's super solid. I like it. Not sure there's a lot of contenders. It's really interesting, but and then Josh, you already said Cube, you already said Ors. If you had to pick like one character's portrayal that you really liked in Egghead so far, who are you picking? If you had to pick top one.
Like I said, Kuma obviously, but then I actually think Kizaru is really underrated right now. Like,
yes,
cause like it's just so interesting to see. Like every week we're like, is he gonna join Luffy? Is he gonna betray, or is he gonna stay with Saturn? Like, I feel like just his character makes me intrigued every single week. Like, what is this guy even gonna do? Like, what is he gonna end up doing? And seeing him with Kuma and Bonnie and them dancing like Nika, like I was like, bro, like this guy is deep, dude. Like this, I know he's a man on a mission, like with the Marines and stuff, but like I want to see more of just what he's truly thinking and stuff. So I gotta go with Kizaru.
I love that, and I was gonna say that, but so that I'm not redundant, I'll go ahead and say somebody else, because like Lucas, Cube, and I have been cooking on the whole Kizaru is going to be a traitor agenda for since before we even hit Egghead. Like back in like post Wano, we were on this vibe, and so like it's been so crazy to see it. Me personally though, I'm gonna agree with Brandon King in the chat who said Vegapunk, because like honestly the whole whodunit mystery and things like that, and with us like it gave a like, you know, imposter like Among Us vibes, and we were just like not sure who to trust. We were a little bit confused on his like morality and if he's like truly morally gray, and it's showing us like in the flashbacks and in the cover stories he's canoodling with the Gorosei, but he's also close with Dragon and things like that. It was such a wild roller coaster trying to figure out where exactly Vegapunk's like true allegiances lied, but then in the Kuma flashback us actually finding out he is a good person, and I truly love the way that he has been portrayed, because it was so up and down, and like we had no idea where to really like place him until that really impactful series of panels in like 1102. It was so good. I think my answer is Vegapunk personally. Yeah, Egghead just hasn't missed, except for York, but it has not missed with character like portrayals. Like, oh my goodness,
that's facts.
As I was giving my answer to Ivankov, I just realized maybe one of the reasons why Ivankov wanted to help Luffy get Ace could also be the whole Jenny thing, her being captured by the world government. I just realized that. Because it's weird, like he went to the eye of the you know, the dragon literally by going to Marineford. It's just something.
Damn. Yeah.
Oh man, it was so I closed out the poll and it was leaning more towards Zoan, but I guess there was a vote cast right when I closed it. We have a tie at 44% between Logia and Zoan, so who knows? You know, I guess we'll have to wait.
Josh is not impressed.
He said, bruh. That was hilarious.
It's been a fascinating art, like real quick pace, different from what we used to, but yeah, loved it. Other than that though, have you got anything you're waiting for, like that's coming up, or is there anything you're anticipating for the next, or 2014 or 2024 should I say?
Well obviously I think Shanks is gonna fight Black. Like I think most people think that, or at least whatever Oda's talking about. If that does happen this year, that's gonna be crazy. But other than that, I think one thing I'm still honestly waiting for, because I do think there's a chance Dragon comes in, how you guys were saying earlier. So just I want to see what Luffy does, like when he actually meets his dad, because I don't know if anyone forgot, like when Luffy saw him at the in the newspaper, he was like, he made like the weirdest reaction. I was like, bro, like when he meets Dragon, I just feel like it's gonna be really funny. Like I honestly don't even think it's gonna be like that serious or anything. And even when Garp brought him up at the first time, he was like, Luffy was like, oh, I have a dad. So seeing him actually meet his dad is gonna, I just feel like it's gonna be really funny, and I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh so, wow. Yeah, I like the. I mean, we see them.
You guys, though?
like real quick though, we see them like mobilizing too. They're like, yo, where could he be going? And then they start like grabbing their bags and keys and shit and like getting ready to leave. Like they've got to be like on their way. I just don't know if they're gonna make it in time is the thing. But yeah, Josh, what are you looking forward to potentially happening most out of the coming chapters in Egghead?
Action. Just give me those fights.
Oh yeah. I mean, do you think he's gonna actually go back and show us like the stuff that we kind of skipped over in the day that we like? Because like when we left and did the whole flashback, there's like a whole chunk of time we didn't. Do you think he's gonna go back and see that, show us those fights too, or no?
Nah, we don't need.
He might show like a little bit, but yeah, nah, he's not gonna show us all the fights. No, just like I would assume like a little bit of just explaining what happened.
Yes.
And then Kube, you got anything you're looking forward to potentially happening most out of what's left to come from Egghead?
Honestly, it's always one thing because I'm still waiting for the timeline. But especially what they showed at Big in the Arc of Big News Morgan, have already written his article. I'm curious if the information being leaked will be information. Basically, I'm wondering if the York like protocol that York has prepared in case Gorsey doesn't do what she wants them to do, is she leaks it through different means than Big News Morgan. So having Big News Morgan's, for the first time, his newspaper being discredited by the truth. So that's like, why did they have to show us that Big News Morgan already sent the newspaper the next day? And now they're saying that there's a big event that happens and there's only one source of information, Big News Morgan.
So how do you think he gets that information? You think he shows up at Egghead with Vivi or what?
No. I think that York's information is going to be leaked out.
Okay, gotcha.
Morgan's information will be talking about Luffy kidnapped Vegapunk and whatever York did, they get the real truth. So they'll have like the true truth, the lie, or, seeing propaganda. Because people don't know that most people think Reduce Morgan is a truth teller, but he actually he tries to tell the truth, but he pulls a string sometimes. So it could be
I get you. And he's not in the world government's pocket anymore. So yeah, that is such a good answer because a lot of people there's just so many side plots going on in Egghead. Like a lot of people kind of forget just how many things are going down. But yeah, Morgan's is making moves right now. I guess what I'm looking forward to most is I need to know what's going on with the whole Stussy situation. I don't know if we're gonna get more on that right now. But what was that devil fruit that Caesar was holding in the we all just assume it's a vampire thing, but how deep does that go? You know what I mean? Like what more is there to know on that? Because that I have not forgotten about that, and I will not. That was so spicy, and he gave us just the tiniest little dip our toes in the water, and then we just went completely full speed in 5 other directions. So I really want to know what's going on with that whole situation. And Sussy's also her, so I need more on that, and I hope she's okay. Den, if you're here with us, did you have anything you were looking forward to most for what's to come from what's left of Egghead? I'll give you a little bit of time to free up, but do you guys think we're gonna be on Egghead for a lot longer, or do you think we're gonna wrap up really soon?
Yeah, with the Buster calling coming, we are gonna leave this island in 20 chapters. That's what I think.
20?
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
Okay,
20 at the most, I would say.
Yeah, that's well, most of the next year. So I mean, I think I'd be okay with that. Because we got 31 in 2023. Hopefully Oda can keep on pace with that, or maybe get back to closer to where the number we normally get is closer to 40, I believe. But
yeah.
Straw Hat Lucas says 15 chapters left, maybe. So I mean, that's interesting. What do you think, Edwards?
Yeah, I could see 20? 15-ish, because I would say 20 at the most, just because I feel once the fights are over, the Straw Hats are probably gonna just get out of there in a chapter, a few chapters. So I feel it's gonna be one of those arcs where Oda doesn't necessarily, he doesn't necessarily rush it, but the ending is just kind of rushed just because of what's going on in Egghead. So yeah, I could see 15, about 15.
One more chapter.
Yeah, Brank's Drums of Liberation in the chat said one more chapter. That's crazy. That's hilarious. I think 20 is like, I think that's where my, like, I would say at least, like it looks like you guys are saying like 20 at most. I hope we get a lot more of it. Cube, what are you thinking?
Honestly, I think same between 15 and 20. But I also said this: I would be happy with any number if Egghead is able to be finished with Odex showing us why the satellites have so much similarities to Ginny. When we saw the flashback, and it doesn't connect at all. We haven't seen Vegapunk and Ginny connecting. Like, I feel like there's something weird between the satellites, Vegapunk, and that flashback. Because you think about it, this is the arc where we get Vegapunk, and he's barely he's a footnote in that flashback. So like, I feel like there's something.
True.
Off.
Yeah, I
There's really
agree.
something off of this one.
I want a whole Kuma style flashback just for Vegapunk, honestly. And then yeah, Dire Regulus in the chat, shout out to my guy, said could be anywhere between 10 to 50 with the amount of things on the side. I agree. Den, we're talking about before, like what were you looking forward to most out of potentially like what is to come from Egghead, and also how many more chapters you think we got here?
Yeah, I was talking for a little bit as well, but I didn't realize I was muted.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, basically, I'm not sure what I want from Egghead, because I think there might be like a bit of a transition or something. I really don't know how it's going to end, but it'll be sudden and messy, I think, and it will be maybe 15 more chapters, I think, or maybe even less.
Crazy. Yeah, like, I mean, people are saying like Straw Hat Lucas said in the chat, like, we're in the climax right now. I don't think we are. I think this is still setup. Like, legitimately, no. I fully believe this is just setup. I could be wrong. I won't be mad if I'm wrong.
The vibe I got is like classic video game. Like a big bad pops up, gets hit, and the buildings fall on him, and then he gets up, and now you're in the boss battle. Like, this is probably just the peak or the middle, or like the end of the middle, in my opinion. But I don't think it's going to go on. Like, I could see it going on a lot longer, but I've just got a feeling it's going to like switch real quick, and then the story will split into maybe a bit of Kid. I know people love that guy, so.
No, we're good. We're good. No, we're good with useless. Captain Useless Smith can stay where he is.
Oh my goodness, bruh. There's
Victoria.
You know what? No, talking about worst generation. Where is my guy, You Rouge? Time to show yourself, dude.
Have you not seen the latest Dak video? He's gonna be on Elba.
Yeah, I fully believe from Dak's video, like the connections that he made between Urouge and Enel, and specifically the parallels that has and inversions that has to Kuma and Vegapunk. Like, I absolutely love it. I think that we are about to get some serious spice from Urouge in the next arc. I don't think he's gonna be in this one though, like, at all. But
Working Birkin.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's gonna
imagine we get a parallel of Jinbei when he meets Nami. He tells the people to Luffy and the rest, "I'm the one who released NL at Skypiea." But yeah, sorry. It would be funny, but yeah.
Balloon Terminal. I mean, it's over Kid Space. Just saying.
I mean, I think Balloon Terminal can move. Like, I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but like, it said that, like, I remember reading in like an SBS somewhere that like all balloons that are released like go to this place, and I'm like, how does that make sense? Because didn't like you remember in the NL cover story, the little automata, like they went up to the moon on balloons. So I'm just like, I don't know, it's super confusing to me, but it'd be cool if we do go back to
it's on Balloon Terminal.
And then, yeah, like the whole NL, like, dude, y'all really, if you haven't checked it out already, go check out Dax's NL Rouge video, because it's crazy how deep that shit goes. But yeah, I mean, he's gotta be, like, it's gotta be, like, something that's gonna be brought up. Like, some people are thinking, like, you know, like, nah, we don't need a Rouge at all. Like, where are you at on that, Ors?
Bro, I think he's gonna be one of the most important characters in the final saga, honestly, because like, yes, I just don't see, like, we already see Bonnie, she's important, and it took how long for us to even get to her. So I don't know, Rouge, like that guy also just looks like he's built different. So I think he's gonna be insanely strong too. And I don't know, I feel like he's got to have some lore, or he could be connected to Nika somehow or something because he's from Skypiea. I don't know. I just have a good feeling that since he's like the last supernova that we haven't really gotten anything of, I just think he's gonna be one of the most important characters.
Yeah, especially with how much that he just cooked with Bonnie, and people weren't even sure if we were gonna get that. You know what I mean? Like this is gotta, like, if it's this late in the story, I feel like he's gotta be deep in his bag on it. You know what I mean?
Do we think that potentially he's the one that reveals the history of the Sky People? And
I would love that
relationship with the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean,
for sure.
I mean, he's a Birkin, right? So, like, this is a way we can get NL story without getting NL, you know? If he was from the same place.
Exactly.
Yeah, hype up and even more.
That's true.
NL's coming back, y'all. It's gonna happen. But no, like and like just one of the many points that Dak had in his video was that, like, if Uruj like did have some sort of past with NL of some sort, that it would make sense the face that he was making whenever he was like pulling up on Raijin Island and he saw just like tons of like lightning like striking down and stuff like that. Like, dude looked traumatized. Like, I didn't really realize it just like because it was so quick in the manga, but Dak like showed like the panel and like, man, yeah, it would just be so deep. And like, I really love that connection as well. Major shout out to SSJ8 Cody in the chat. That's the special grade sorcerer of the last arc. We love you, Cody.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, I like to bring that up. People like to talk about Uruj being one of the few to damage a pacifista pre-time skip. If I remember correctly, he did not phase when he saw the laser attacks, which is interesting. Maybe you can connect that he already, getting used to NL's attacks, years before, could explain that. He didn't flinch when he saw them doing their laser attacks.
I was gonna say actually two things with the Rouge too. Bro, like if he actually fought NL, like how you said with the panel when he's going to Raijin Island, that's like the most Oda thing to do. I feel like with like a foreshadow or somehow just hinting that he's like how you said, like he looks traumatized, right? And then the other thing with the Rouge that I want to say too is like how you just said with the pacifista, that kind of confirms that he was he seemed stronger than Luffy at that time. So, and then when we come to the time skip, he already defeated, I think,
Snack.
I forgot. Yeah, Snack, which is one of like Big Mom's crew. So I just think like if we keep progressing like this, I think by the time we see him, he could be maybe like as strong as Luffy or just a little bit weaker. But I feel like he should be around Luffy just because we keep seeing like Luffy's always kind of under him, honestly, in a way.
Yeah, it makes me think a bit of the whole Odin and Yamato situation, to the fact that there are people who never left their hometown, very powerful, and then the people from the outside kind of see that thing. Uruj is from the White Sea, so it could be a thing that maybe that's also his bounty was lower kind of stuff,
Yeah.
It's not because he didn't do stuff, is they never heard of it. He was an isolated place as well. He only heard of it the moment he like maybe he has a career in the Blue Sea even less than Luffy. Maybe he's been doing stuff only in under a month or 2 months, as well. If it comes to
I want to shout out the cook of the last arc, Vex, for giving 10 subs.
Hey,
yeah.
I see names that aren't green or blue in the chat, and I'm just like, something's not right here. But yeah, I was trying to hit baby Pluton with that, so got it now. Got the swish on that, but yeah, I think like especially like you're talking about Oda level foreshadowing and stuff like that, all the way back to post times or just after the time skip. I think it's like even bigger than that, because a lot of people have been thinking that, like they mentioned in Skypiea, that there's a whole nother way other than the knockup stream of getting to the White Sea, the summit of High West. And I think that's probably something we're about to see as well. And like, I hope so. Cause like, it's cool. Like when he gives us like these crazy cool, like names of like esoteric locations or enigmatic locations that we're just like, you kind of like hope he's going to cook on that later. Like, I don't know if we're actually going to go to like the ice continent or something like that, or like, a place that like, but maybe it'd be cool if we did. But I think Summit of High West is probably something we will see, and a lot of people speculate it could be tied to the big ass tree on Elbaf. You know what I mean?
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Brandon King in the
Interesting.
chat,
Yeah,
he
I
says
believe
it.
that theory.
Yeah. And I know Dak has said it
And also-
before in multiple of his videos or lives and stuff like that, but like I really hope we do see like what's going on with all of that.
Yeah. And also, like, I
Yo,
like to...
baby love.
Yeah,
Yo,
shout out.
baby
Hey,
love.
baby love.
Thank you.
Shout out to
Thank you
Baby
for the
Love.
membership.
Yeah, a member for 3 months, says W Cube and several fire emojis. We want to. We
You
said
must
it
have listened to a
earlier.
different stream.
Crazy. We said it. We said it earlier, but we want to make sure that y'all's little one has a wonderful and happy birthday. So super glad that y'all popped in. We love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we also
yeah,
have
yeah.
a question. We have a question for Lucas. What do we think was the thing in the sky that picked up beige?
Ooh.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Yeah, Brandon's question as well. Yeah, I agree.
Like the moon thing.
Let's start with Oars.
Yeah,
Let's start with
Oars.
Oars. What do you think? Like Scoop, like sucked up Beige, because I think it might tie into what we just talked about personally, but I'll get into that in a minute.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? I don't.
So
really
right
remember
after
that.
right after the
time
time skip, it was showing us like whenever Uruj was staring at Raijin Island, and then it showed us like Bonnie was beefing with a Kainu, and then it shows us Beige, and he's just chilling with the fire tank pirates, and then all of a sudden they just get like, there's just like something that comes out of the clouds, and it's like this big flying saucer with like suction cups or something underneath it, and he just gets pulled into the sky. We never see anything more on that. The next time we see Beige is in Whole Cake, and there's never an explanation.
Oh, okay. No, I remember that now. Oh,
Dude, it's so crazy.
I have no idea, honestly, what that. I remember when I reread that, I actually was thinking maybe Shiki, maybe, because it's like floating in the sky, like. But the way that it pulled him in, so I don't know, because like I don't know if Shiki's powers could do that, but that's pretty much all I got, man.
Yeah, what I think is that it was the mother flame or whatever it is. Like they saw it moving.
Yeah, I think that's like especially like nobody could really have that theory up until we got to like where we are now and stuff. But ever since we saw the mother flame, that was like the first thing people were going. I remember like when the chapter dropped, everyone's like, "That's what got Beige" and stuff like that. I think it could go either way, but I really hope it's Shiki, like you were saying, because if you think about it, that happens, and then the next time we see Beige, he's straight going for the throat of a Yonko. And like Shiki, I'm like, because Strong World's not canon, but episode 0 is, and we saw him like in the rocks panel on God Valley. I'm fully convinced Shiki is absolutely at Yonko level. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think it'd be interesting if he was setting things up to try to like take out a Yonko through Beige. Like somehow, like I don't know, that'd be so cool. Like there's somebody, I don't remember who brought it up, but somebody cooked on that with me in VC for like an hour straight, and it was like one of the best conversations. Go ahead, Cube.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, like, if you think about it, and this is to give it up to Ragnar, if you analyze Strong World, even though he seemed to be Yakuza, they do a big emphasis on him being a boss of his organization and being more a mobster. And the only other character who is very emphasized on that is Beige as well, the mobster thing. So yeah, that's why I like the Shiki thing, and Shiki has to come in the story.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, he has
one
to.
thing I will like say to contrast that is them things on the bottom do look kind of weird. Kind of look like propulsion, kind of like jetpacky type things, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It almost looks like mechanical as well as Earth, but yeah.
Breaks put in the chat that he was talking about, they said that they were testing out Vegapunk's gift on the Lucia. I think what was actually said is that Vegapunk had figured out how to, like, he had provided the power source. They could have probably had like the actual device itself, but without the ability to power. I believe in the officials it was pretty ambiguous, but I'd have to pull it up. I don't have it right in front of me. But that's like one of the main objectives of Egghead as well right now, is they're like, we need to get the power source. That was like one of the only 3 objectives that Cypher Pol was given when they infiltrated.
Dang.
Yeah,
Bro,
the
that's
fusion
actually a
reactor,
pretty good theory. I never thought of the Mother Flame being like that too, like, because I just assumed Vegapunk made it, but if the world government already had it, that would be pretty insane, bro.
Or
Yeah,
like something
what I think-
prototypical of it. It doesn't, maybe not the exact thing, but yeah. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah, what I think is that the mother flame is just the power source, and that thing is just 2 runs. Or if we go with the theory that each ancient weapon is 3 parts: a person, a creature, and a ship. I think that's the ship. That's the main weapon.
That's interesting.
True.
We got a shout out to Mr. Bushido 56 with a €5 super chat. It says Shiki will be an Elbaf. He is Killer's father and will train Kid to take on Shanks and become a Yonko. I like a good Shiki theory. I don't know. I've seen the whole Killer's father thing, and that's really interesting. I don't know about Kid getting anywhere near Shanks level. Sorry. What do y'all think on that?
Let's just, Bushido already knows how I feel. Kid was a kid. He's going to come back a man, and he will kill Shanks.
That's spicy.
So, yeah.
I don't know, man. You did put a video on that out like half a year ago. I remember seeing that one.
I cannot believe you just exposed me like that, dude. Well, we've got one of my favorite guests on.
I think the one interesting fear of all of that is I don't know if it's connected, but I don't like. I'm not a fan. I don't believe the Shiki and Killer relation, but I do like the idea of Killer can be from the Third Eye tribe. I don't know if it's the same theory or not, but
I remember seeing. Yeah, I remember seeing a lot
hidden.
on that as well, and that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa!
I do have a question myself, unless go on, Bex.
I was just
Go.
reading what Brandon King put in the chat. He said Weevil is a failed clone of Whitebeard and Shiki combined. That's crazy, dude. Like,
Yo.
what?
Imagine if Weevil flew. It'd be awful to watch.
I mean, a Weevil is
also,
a bug that can fly. Like
No.
True.
Oh, God.
True.
oh my goodness.
Also think about that. He has a Big Mom's neck and Kaido's legs, so telling you, he's the cell of the Rocks Pirates. A failed one, but he's the cell of the Rocks Pirates.
And then Den, I'm gonna spit it to you right after this one. But Mr. Bushido with another €2 super chat said, Smoker will also be Yonko level next time we see him. I can only hope so after such a slow cook. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I have nowhere. I can't put any faith in like any Smoker theories right now till we see more. But what were you gonna say, Den?
Well, firstly, the Smoker stuff. Maybe not. I mean, Yonko, that's quite scary. I mean, I do think he's going to be up there. I think he's going to be Aikiji's right-hand man in like a new version of the Navy, like a sword mixed with the Navy. But what was I going to ask? Oh, yeah, I do have a question. Just pulling it all back to where we started. Oars, is Oars Joy Boy?
You guys know what I already think about that. I still think it, yes.
Okay. And so, do you think? I'm curious. Have you got any other thoughts on Joy Boy? Like any other versions of Joy Boy that you think existed, or anything like that? Like since you've obviously honed in on that, I should say. Is there any other candidates that have sort of stuck out to you since?
Well, obviously, like the Buccaneer, like I can't just put that to the side. Like obviously, I think it would make sense, but the only argument I honestly have against the Buccaneer thing is like, I feel like they kind of more worship Joy Boy, or maybe like were like, I just feel like they themselves weren't Joy Boy because like Luffy would never worship himself, and I just feel like with the Buccaneers, I feel like they more so just love Joy Boy so much, and that's why they kind of kept like the whole Joy Boy thing with them. And I also think with the Buccaneers, I think it's just like the other only argument is that I think it's just a little too obvious. Like because they're obviously a pirate race and connected to Nika. I feel like that's kind of just too in our face if it ends up becoming Joy Boys. So I don't know. And obviously the other races like Skypeans, I know a lot of people have made theories on like Lunarians, Skypeans, Fishmen. I have a Fishmen one if you guys want to hear that, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think
ready,
like,
Please.
are you guys ready for that?
Oh yes, absolutely. We got a good bit in the chat now too, because earlier on we were still seeing some people trickle in. We're ready though. We're ready.
For sure. All right, so the Fishmen one is, I still think Oars was Joy Boy, but I think the way they created the Nika fruit, I think Nika is actually based on like a man that actually did exist. Maybe he didn't have like actual superpowers how the devil fruits have it, but maybe Nika was just a man who freed people and who was also connected to the sun. And I think that was a lot of I think there's a lot of foreshadowing with Nika being connected to the Fishmen, especially with like the whole sun pirates and stuff. But yeah, I also, the other reason I think there was a man like even before the Void Century, even like I don't even know how far back this would go. Like this is like before pretty much anything in One Piece existed, I would say. Like maybe I think the furthest back we know is
5,000
Alabasta from 4,000, yeah, or maybe O'Hara from 4,000, 5,000, something like that. Yeah,
the Tree of Knowledge was 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, okay, so maybe like around that time I would think Nika actually did exist, and part of the reason for that is because if you go all the way back to Arlong Park, and if you see Arlong, I think it's the first chapter of Arlong Park, or one of the first chapters, Arlong talking to Zoro. Arlong says fishmen are the lords of creation, and I feel like that might be hinting that like the fishmen are connected to Nika, since we know that Nika is kind of like a creation god, or the god of like just creating things, since we see like he can literally just do anything he wants. So I was thinking maybe that's kind of connected. And then hold on, let me see. Okay, so also one of the things in Dressrosa, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Luffy's name for a little bit in Dressrosa was Lucy, and if you take a look at what that is connected to, Lucy was actually like the first man that ever existed, and I think Nika is also based on like the very first man that ever existed. And the way I think people even exist in One Piece is because I think there was originally fishmen first, and then fishmen walked outside onto land, and then kind of became humans over time.
Whoa.
And so I think, yeah, okay, so that, and then we also know that like fishmen are kind of based on like Africans, or like with like the whole like, I don't know if it's MLK or Malcolm X kind of thing in Fishman Island, and we obviously see that celestial dragons are like super racist to them and stuff, so it kind of goes into that as well, where like the fishmen are like the actual original race, just like how people, or at least science tells us that like Africans are basically the original race, or that we at least originate from Africa. Yeah. And so I think fishmen are actually the original people of One Piece. And it's kind of ironic that everyone's racist towards them, even though they're actually, how Arlong said, the gods of creation. They were the original creation. And let me look at this again real quick.
I've never heard anything like this one before.
Yeah. So it's kind of like all based on like real life stuff with like Africa and the first humans that ever existed. If you also take a look at real life science, people supposedly say that the origin of life came from the sea, and that's obviously the fishmen. So I think the fishmen were the original, like I said, the original people, and that they eventually walked out into land. And I also think that that's why what was I gonna say? Oh, that's also why I think Nika is called a sun god, because I think the way I think Nika was the very first man that actually went out literally into the sun, and to live like out into the sun instead of living into the sea, like how I believe the fishmen lived for probably hundreds of years before then. And so yeah, that's how I think the sun god, why they even called the sun god. Monkey D. Luffy, obviously. Like I said, Lucy, the name Lucy, if you search it up, it's the first man, but it's like kind of like that in between of like a monkey and a man. How science always says like we came from monkeys or whatever, or like you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like the evolution. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So basically, I think fishmen are basically like the actual monkeys, and then Nika being connected to Monkey D. Luffy is him being like the first man, and the Hito Hito fruit is obviously connected with being a human. Let me take a look at this real quick too.
I actually have to add,
you were just saying,
I'm originally from that area originally, and interesting enough, Lucy's from close to the Red Sea in Ethiopia. But interesting is Eritrea, where I'm from, they believe at the god of sea, and I think Ethiopia believes at the god of the moon. So they're also similar. You should look into that. They have their own like that they talk about in our culture as well.
You mentioned the whole Lucy thing as well. Like that is a super important theme of the Garden of Eden, and like the detachment of God and humans, and that is like a really important part of One Piece as well. This idea that celestial dragons are humans, or are they not humans? They say they're gods. Emu's kind of like suggested to be a god, and what's the difference? So yeah, I think that's real close to the mark, personally.
Yeah, that is interesting. Hey, you guys gotta send me this stuff on Discord after this, just like so I look into it more, and I'll shout you guys out too in the when I do make a video on it. But yeah, so the next parts would be okay. So according to Science 2, how I said humans somehow were like evolutionary. Somehow we came from fish, like literally like in real life. So obviously I think maybe fish in One Piece were the original like species of life, and then fishmen came from that, and then I think humans came from fishmen in One Piece. And then if you guys have seen my videos, you guys already know that I believe Nika is somewhat at least based on Jesus too. And I mean, I think now it's kind of almost confirmed at this point with Kuma having the Bible and like Nika being a part of the Bible. I think Nika is just like, in One Piece terms, Nika is the Jesus of the One Piece Bible, like. So, and then the connection with that and this would be that if you spell Jesus' name, I think the language is Greek, it ends up being spelled as fish. And that's also why somehow Jesus is also connected to fish, because I think, I don't know if it's on Saturdays, but a lot of Christians or Catholics or something eat fish every single week on like, it's like a tradition from Jesus on like Saturday. And I think it comes from the Bible story of, he fed people fish and bread. So there's also that connection. Yeah.
Yo, guys, let me shape like a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I guess I don't even remember this one, but I guess another connection too is that Luffy. Okay, you guys know have you guys heard the theory that Kaido's name in Japanese is somehow translates to like Joy Boy or like Strong Kid or something? Well, Kaido is also he also ate the fish fruit, the mythical zone fish fruit, and I don't find it a coincidence. I think if you guys watched Orz's Joy Boy, you guys already know, but I think Kaido is like a complete representation of a false Joy Boy. And I don't find it a coincidence that Luffy defeating a fish fruit guy while becoming Nika for the first time, I don't know, I think there's some connection there too. Let's see if there's any more.
Do you know on the first chapter of One Piece, after Luffy eats the devil fruit, the next day he goes, when he asks for food, he goes to a fish market.
Bro, yo, hey, I did not think of that, bro. Yo, that's a good one.
I mean, look at what Oda uses as his stand-in is like a guy with a fish head too.
That's also a part of this too. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So Oda uses the fish little thing, and then.
And also,
so
Nika's
I kind
mermaid, right? Like Yonka Nika.
Wait, what was that?
Oh
like,
wow!
Also,
yeah.
like Yonka Nika and all that. The mermaids, right? Like
there were like those 5
mermaids is called Nika.
mermaid kids, and one of them was.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can see all of his face, just like
video. I was literally about to say that too, because I was gonna say like I remember I originally thought of most of that stuff like with the Lucy stuff and the Fishman being the first race, but then I was reading Fishman, I was like, yo, why is one of the mermaids literally named Nika? And I think that obviously foreshadows that Nika was a fishman. So yeah,
Also,
I think that's most of it.
Foreshadows the other gods.
Yeah.
You know what?
Exactly.
Actually, I really like that because I have this headcanon. I think the original fishmen from 800 years ago were more man than fish. That's why they had that big bubble. Because it means at one point. So it could be explained that maybe Nika was the first one to do the full transformation as well. So because the bubble, the way it's done, it's since the get-go. So why would they need a bubble to be able to live in harmony unless the original fishmen who were resistant to water but couldn't breathe full length, and then just adapted to their environment. So I like it a lot, the fishmen with Nika.
It's also
that's true too.
Yeah, with Hody also taking the energy steroids and getting into like a pseudo Gear 5 kind of like that's interesting as well.
Yeah, it's like a mink transformation.
Yeah. It's like that mixed with like maybe like it literally looks like Gear 5. Like if we go back, like it's crazy.
True. Yeah, and I don't like I noticed this too when I was reading Fishman, like just for this theory up, but it's not necessarily just connected to Nika, but mythical zones, like just all mythical zones, I think, when they awaken. But I found it kind of interesting that all the, I don't know if it's what's his name, King Neptune, and like all of his sons and stuff, and Shirahoshi too. They all have like, you guys know like that, the awakening cloud that comes around them. They all have that, like in clothing though, and I was like, that's kind of interesting too. Like they look like they're like awakened of something, like just like by the clothing that they wear.
That is crazy. Yeah, real quick, I wanted to read another super chat from Mr. Bushido, with another €2. Said, Joy Boy was a buccaneer named Kozuki Binks. That's interesting. I like. What do you does like Buccaneer tie in at all with like what you've got cooking right now? Like do you think Buccaneers, like, I don't know, like, because like we still don't know like what's going on with that whole situation.
With the Buccaneers, yeah, like, I mean, I think they're definitely connected to Nika back in the Void Centuries. So I don't believe it's Joy Boy yet, but I think there's a chance. So I think all the possibilities in One Piece, like, I'm not gonna just say I'm confirmed right or anything, but yeah, like there's a chance he could be Joy Boy, a Buccaneer.
Interesting. I do want to just quickly bring someone up as well. Brandon, I got it, like, throughout all the years, you're always the one who's cooking some of the spicy stuff. Brandon said, don't forget the ancient robot climbed the red line when Fishmen started asking for equality. If the robot has Joy Boy's soul in it, then it being made by a fishman makes sense, which is nuts. Like,
it was also when the fighting fish were showed up at Greenbit right then. So like I think that's another like fish tie as well. Sorry, Cube, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's deeper than that. They weren't asking for just rights for that. Jinbei he started by saying that's when it rose up to a higher level, discrimination towards fishmen. He started by saying that, which is interesting that there was discrimination to fishmen that rose at the same time. So yeah, that's interesting.
Also, like, I think it would just be so ironic, right? Like if like the fishmen were like the original like race, or like what if like they're actually kind of like gods in their own way, because they're, how Arlong says, we're the gods of creation, we're the first humans or something. I just feel like that would be so ironic, because like they're the ones who actually had to fight even for the right of being a human, because I think how they said 200 years ago was when the time when they finally even were considered like actual human beings, or like at least somewhat like they, because I think before that they were considered fish, and like that's just wild in my opinion. So yeah.
Just let's run it through the TLA machine. Like, Josh, does the theory get your approval?
What theory? Exactly.
The
one right
was
now.
this theory that basically fishmen, the humans originally, like fishmen came out of the water and became humans, like evolved, like in real life, supposedly.
There could be. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
I see the
If
origin
Josh
of...
gives it could be, then
Yeah.
it's probably true.
That's better than no.
What I think is gonna
Thank
be...
you, bro, thank you.
Yeah, I have my huge theory about the origin of the entire world that could just be mythology and not be true at all.
It could just be mythology, yeah,
Yeah.
potentially. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Oars is super fresh, and like there's a load of different elements to it. And as you could probably, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the chat was like going off on it as well. So
Oh, yeah, I
I'm
didn't
sure
check.
I'm sure it'll be doing all right. Like when you
Yep.
drop it.
Hope so.
No, if-
Yeah, and hey,
No.
you guys are the first ones that know about this too. I mean, I told Preach about it obviously, but like no one
Nice.
else. So this is the first time anyone's heard this theory at all.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Absolutely appreciate that.
Getting
feels
the
good.
inside
Feels
scoop,
cool.
man. You gave us the scoop.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
feels good for the soul. So,
In
Yeah, no
that
problem.
case, we should probably give you something back. I'm trying to think of what theory we've got that we can. Well,
Actually,
if Lucas is in the chat, we could.
Oh, I don't want
I was
to
gonna say,
go too deep into that. Yeah, but
yeah. Actually, yeah. Share that. You should share that part. I'll share my thing afterwards. It's also for everyone to think of.
I don't want to go
Cool.
too deep into it. But like Lucas has brought it up a little bit at the end of the stream of Liberation that we did, like that massive big old kickoff 2024 in a good way. And it's talking about kind of like how Emu rose to power, and it's more or less dealing with like a potential like bargainings or contracts or deals, and sacrifice, and a lot of darker themes like that. And if it could be like something that Emu orchestrated over like a larger, more powerful figure. Like I said, I don't want to go too deep into it, but do you have any thoughts, Ors, on like how Emu just is in like what's going on with that whole situation? If there's like any ties, like, because if you're cooking on the Ancient Kingdom, we definitely want to see if you've got any like Emu spice, because that goes kind of hand in hand, right?
Honestly, I mean, I think I do have a few Emu theories, but I was gonna say like how you were saying. I definitely think there's something crazy that happened in the Void Century, because obviously Emu doesn't want anyone finding out about it. So I can see something like pretty wild happening in the Void Century. And I think, what was I gonna say about Emu? Oh, I think for sure though. I think one thing that for sure happened with Emu is that he somehow either tricked people or got people to pretty much just like betray the Ancient Kingdom, because I think at the very least he got Alabasta, like literally like the will of D. Somehow he got them to even betray the Ancient Kingdom. So I don't know. I think that at the very least there's that, but I have some Emu theories. One of them is with Preach too. Actually, we'll be collabing on one video, but I don't really have it all in my head right now. Honestly, like I said, I'll have to take a look at the notes and stuff. But yeah, not too much, honestly.
Yeah, I got you. I just wanted to read another super chat that we got from Middleway, who we had on last Saturday. Absolutely fire stream. We got a $5 super chat from the GOAT himself. We appreciate you so much, brother. But he said, Joy Boy was a mix of Lunarian and Fishman, a child of peace between the warring nations. Their unity created the Ancient Kingdom. That is interesting. That is spicy. Like, I don't remember you. Like, yeah. We were cooking on the whole two sovereigns thing, and like some Ancient Kingdom origin stories with that stream. So if you guys haven't already checked it out, go check it out. Make sure you sub to Middleway as well. An absolute GOAT in the community. Well deserved on the over 5K, and your recent video has also been just killing it as well. So make sure you guys sub to Middleway. Make sure you guys sub to Ors, and make sure you guys like D-Stream. But that is fire. I love that.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I was thinking about this today. I swear, I wouldn't be surprised if Middleway and Ors, if they were to speak in the future, a collab or something might come from that, because you guys are definitely, like I was saying, similar to Middleway. I'm a big fan of Middleway, and you guys kind of critical and stuff, and I really think it works well together. So yeah, I think you guys would get along. Your theories would work well and stuff.
Yeah, check out Middleway's Sanji theory too, Conquer's theory. That was one of my favorites, honestly.
Nice.
Oh, that's a real good one.
Yeah, I think like I posted a poll in the chat, and we've got a few different people voting on it. Is what lineage was Joy Boy, and I put Fishman, Buccaneer, Lunarian, and Human. And man, it's actually close, but it seems that 33% of people so far are voting for Human. but I like a lot of the theories. It's just, I bring this up every time. It's just like, it's so crazy that Oda can set up such a tight knit story and still have some things like this open ended where we can see it happening in so many different ways. Dude is an absolute like like this is just it's just like crazy work. You know what I mean?
Seriously. Sometimes I wonder if he purposely put evidence for like all the races, because like I've seen a lot of the theories on just any race on Joy Boy, and like they all have good evidence. So I don't know, like maybe I don't know if maybe it's because like he doesn't want people to predict it, or if he doesn't want to make it too obvious, but I don't know. I feel like he kind of put things out there, maybe for a specific purpose.
Fuck it, Joy Boy sunt tontata.
A tontata? That's amazing. Yeah, I've actually been pushing around a theory myself, and I don't know like how much I really buy into it myself. I just think it'd be so funny is like, what if because the world of One Piece is so huge, and like it's clearly larger than the world that we live in of Earth, and we see that there's giants and stuff like that. Like, what if the giants are actually just normal sized individuals, and the rest of the like races are like smaller, and it's like in Gulliver's Travels, like Lilliputians, and like what like so I was like playing around with the idea like, what if the ancient kingdom is called like something like Lilliput, and that does tie in with like Lily as well. But yeah, like tying it to Gulliver's Travels is like something I've been trying to do, so I might have like a more cohesive, you know, thought train on that once I get like a little bit of a video put together. But figured I'd spit that here because I brought it up a couple times on different streams. But like, what if the entirety of the One Piece world is actually normal sized, and so are the giants, and humans are just like little guys, you know?
That is, yeah.
That would be crazy, bro. I wonder
I
what that
did
makes
wanna-
the Tontadas then.
I know, right? Like
On that size scale.
Actually,
The automator as well, they're pissed.
because I remember we talked about it a while back, Vex, and I did like it because it also, you know, I remember the discussion we were doing. I don't even know, someone else was there as well, where we could have said the Tantanas, why they were much smaller, is the oppression. They're more naive. They accept, you know, being, you know, there was something about them being so naive that they even realized how much they were slaves to people in their society. They even said they were tricked back by the world government when they came to Dressrosa. That would be a peaceful place. What if maybe the giants are the ones who are like living like true freedom mentally as well, you know? And the other ones are just, you know, following the status quo to some extent. So that's why they're so small.
yeah, I mean, and we've seen before that like there's like there's been a theory going around that like Tontadas, if they believe something strong enough because they're so gullibility, and also there's the tie to gullibility, Gulliver's Travels, sorry, but like if they believe something strong enough, it could like manifest, and like I don't know, like orcs in Warhammer 40k, or like Kuotoa in D&D, but that's like a power that I've heard of that theory before, and it's even more interesting because Dire Regulus put it in the chat. They did a like straight 1-to-1 with Robin on Greenbit, and the Totadas like climbing all over her and stuff like that. That is literally almost the exact same angle and everything that you see in like Gulliver's Travels, and like if you read the book as well, it's like they even like have like very similar dialogue. So there's definitely Gulliver's Travels parallels. And I just think that would be pretty crazy if like that ended up being I don't know. I still need to do a lot more digging, but I love that theory so much. And the Tontadas have to be more
I want to ask
important.
you guys. True. I just want to ask you guys one question. Could a giant even see a Tontada? Like if he was to like hold him in his hand.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get
He could
too.
even see.
Well, doesn't Shanks have both?
Yeah.
I believe,
Giants,
but I don't want to
Heavy
get too.
I mean,
I don't want to get too
Big-
into it because Lucas is gonna like start losing it in the chat. But Big Mom's enormous and is like almost giant sized, and she had a kid with a Tontada, so that happened.
Bruh.
It's a shame. Actually.
yeah, that's
Yo.
That happened.
Bro,
Like-
hey, I gotta make an entire video on that too. Just How like
Whoa,
how does how does
whoa.
Neptune and what's her name even make Shirahoshi, bro?
Oh,
Like, how is this
Otohime?
even
Yeah.
possible?
Bro, I was memeing on this too. Like,
Seeking surrogate, I think.
oh my goodness. No, I was making,
Bro,
I was memeing on this too. I'm like, yo, look at like Odin and Toki. Like, how does that work?
So actually, I'm happy this was brought up, and I have a question for you, Ors. I really been doing that to the guys all the time. Others and Portuguese de Rouge that we seen in the flashback. How many times have you seen in the World of One Piece a pregnant woman?
Damn.
I mean, with the
I
whole,
don't know
that's
if I can
why
say ever. Besides
Yeah,
that
with-
one time.
Yeah,
with the whole South Blue incident with Batareya, they specifically like were like, yo, like we're hunting down like these ladies, and like that was one of the only times it was actually like super prominent, other than I guess like it was, you know, obviously the concept was touched on in Whole Cake Island because Big Mom had like 78 kids, but yeah, it's not a lot.
I'll say this. I wouldn't be shocked that in the World of One Piece, something happened a long time ago that affects kids. That's why, you know, Sasori do what they're doing, taking, you know, women. It could be like those who are the most free, desire to have a kid with someone. They don't need to do the act, you know, like the woman will just, you know, start being pregnant, those kind of stuff, because it's weird. They're purposely not showing any pregnant woman in the story, but pregnancy is such an important theme in the story, which is weird. You know, like how do you have all
That
those
is
kids?
weird.
You know,
Where's all the mums at?
Well, Otis said in an interview when the people were asking him, this was a long time ago, like, where's Luffy's mom? And he's just like, yo, moms are like the opposite of adventure. So why would I include them in the story? And yeah, I've brought this up before multiple times as well. Like how many like still in the story and alive and present mothers can we name? And it's just like Makino, Chiffon. As far as biological moms go, I mean, everyone can like say like, you know, Dedan and like things like, but like as far as like actual biological moms, I think there's like literally 2.
God damn. That's insane, dude.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like there's that cover page with I think it's Stellian and that woman, the real strong woman. I've forgotten her name. But they've got a baby, haven't they? She's you know. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Yeah, also on the subject of giants and Tontata, my D&D character is a giant and Tontata hybrid, and I have D&D right now, so I'm gonna leave.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, Josh. Josh is about to go spit in the group 13 posted by Crownless King in the Last Arc Discord. Link in the description if you guys wanted to sit in on that. Like once we're done cooking, the One Piece D&D is just such a blast. Hope you have a wonderful session, Josh. Thank you so much for cooking with us.
Bye bye.
and nice to have you,
Thank
bro.
you, bro.
Take it easy.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet
Do
you,
you
bro.
guys think that Banshina is part Tontata, part giant? Because she got that pointy nose, but she's like normal human size. That's like Usopp's mom.
Usopp's. Oh, I thought about that too.
Yeah.
She could be, yeah. There's actually a weird connection too with the whole Nolan thing. So possibly, honestly.
And then that's like also
Yeah.
part of like where the theory is that Tontata can kind of manifest things that they believe in, is like because we all know that Usopp's lies come true, and if he's part Tontata, he could just be manifesting that, you know, like that kind of power.
Damn.
Like you know, if he is in fact part Tontata.
Yeah, that goes perfectly, bro.
But I also
Damn,
wanted
that
to
is
laugh.
true.
I also laughed at what Brandon King said in the chat a little while ago. He's like, the straw hat is actually the frozen straw hat is actually just normal size, but Emu's a Tontata. Like that's crazy, dude.
Marie was like a doll's house.
I mean, we're all suspecting that there's something off with Emu's size when Emu sat on the throne. There was something off with Emu on the throne. Like either it's child size, or the throne is not supposed to be. Emu is not supposed to sit on that throne. It's one of the two.
No one who's tall wears a crown that big. You know what I mean? It's just not happening.
It's a Napoleon complex. Like.
True.
Definitely. You know what I mean? Emu probably drives a very big car. Like, anyway. So while we're on the topic of Emu, what's your thoughts with the Mother Flame? Do you think the Mother Flame is going to be used on any other islands or anyone else?
I would say like eventually, but probably not right now. I mean, maybe Egghead, I would say, but I don't know who else they would use it on, honestly. Like, because I feel like at the same time they don't want to completely just destroy the entire world, so I feel like they kind of have to balance how much they use it in. Because I mean, we saw what happened, right, with like the whole flood thing. So I don't know. I don't think they're gonna just keep on. I don't think they're gonna spam it. Basically, I think they're gonna use it maybe little by little.
I don't think they can, because otherwise, why would they?
Yeah.
One of the main objectives be like getting the power source secured. Like
True.
without the power source,
True.
I'm pretty sure they can't like recharge and like blast it again. I'm not sure on that, but I'm pretty sure on that.
I think
they're going to use it on Alabaster.
Yeah, because
Oh, that would be that's crazy. Like
That would be crazy.
my thing is, and I do think that there's something off about Mother Flame. It's not as this end all be all, because why not use Mother Flame for Egghead? They're doing now a Buster Call. I feel like there's something like a cooldown moment or those kind of stuff, or it could be connected to the sun cycle or the moon cycle or something like that. There must be something for this crazy power, or else you would just like then said, you know, Alabaster or even now an Egghead, you know. Feels like there's something off about it.
Yeah.
But Alabaster would be crazy.
What do you?
yeah. I mean, they
what do
don't
you
want
guys
total
think,
destruction.
Ennis Lobby was.
Oh, that's crazy. I remember, like, I don't know, like it's crazy to think that like maybe that's like where the ancient kingdom originally resided or something back in the day. Like I've seen a lot of like different theories. I don't know though, like, but that is crazy.
I like
Yeah.
the theory about I like the theory of that it's fish. It was where Fishman Island used to be. That's why Fishman Island is actually not even connected to a sea. It's floating in the sea,
Man,
and it's not
would
that
be
far away.
insane, dude.
I had
It's not that
such
far
a
away.
I had such a like it's like such a tinfoil theory that I don't want to like spend too much time explaining, but it is but it's basically that like Ennis Lobby is kind of like the whole tug current, the Tarai current, like that you see like the gates of justice like kind of controlling. Like if all of that and all of those associated islands are in like a self-contained like bucket sea, kind of like the waters around Wano in Mount Fuji. And if that's just like the plug, like the drain, like, you know, and like stuff just starts swirling down there and it just spits out into the actual sea around it. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to go off of there. It's just a thought that I had like a long time ago, and I want it to be something kind of like that, but I really don't know. But that could like explain, like, I don't know, maybe it's like the other end of Reverse Mountain, or maybe it's like something that causes Aqua Laguna. I don't know. It could be so many different things, but I thought because like I did a lot of like research on it and I don't remember it all right now. Sorry, go ahead, Dindin.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, I think there's like along, you know, a lot of times passed since O'Hara dropped that big vid with Denai's lobby and stuff, and there's some stuff we can pick out. I think like Island that's there and his lobby probably wasn't there whenever that hole was made, right? Surely it's since gone over the top of it, because how else would it be able to protect itself unless when the hole was made, like with Uranus or whatever, there was a shield put around it, like a barrier or something. But yeah, I think there's a few things we can work out, and like some of us mentioned the locations. Fisherman Island's closed. Right opposite, we have just off it, we have Reverse Mountain, which, you know, it seems to be going upwards, which would, you know, if one part of the hole's going inwards and the other one's coming out, then that seems kind of like it fits. So I think there are some deductions that could probably be made, like
Yeah, but with your
volcanic
like
activity.
I was answering Nasty Ninja. He's like, why are there whirlpools outside of Wano? And I said volcanic activity because that actually happens. But no, specifically, it'd be interesting because we do know that Ennis Lobby is, they call it a never night island. It's always sunny there. And so like with your potential, I really honestly fully believe the whole Kingdom of the Sun thing. So that's why I said like it could have been where the ancient kingdom originally resided before like the Void Century. So I really think that it has something to do with all of that. And like we've never seen another island like that, like a never night island. And I know Kube and I have cooked previously because like whenever we were going through Little Garden and stuff like that, Nami had mentioned that somebody had mentioned to Nami, I think, that there are islands that are like
it's
stuck
Vivi.
in time. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
Vivi.
Vivi.
And so like if there are islands that are like stuck in time, like Little Garden still has prehistoric and extinct creatures on it and things like that. If maybe that same thing kind of happened to whatever island Enies Lobby used to be. But like it's really crazy to think about.
Yeah, and I like to add on this is, and I've said this many times, and like I will die on that hill. Enies Lobby and Impel Down, they're not using them for the purpose they were made for. They're a way, like if you look at Impel
100%
Down,
agree.
other than the cage, those kind of stuff, then you look at Enies Lobby, they're just using for judges. But look, some of those rooms, it looks like where people used to live. It didn't look like a court. It doesn't look like a courthouse, you know. So it feels like
There's a polyglyph in there too. In
yeah,
Impel
exactly.
Down.
Impel Down as well, you know. And
Yeah.
and what we know is the only thing that's
I'm trying to see.
yeah, and the only thing that's not made of stone and Impel Down are the cages, and obviously the handcuffs. So everything else. And what if basically the prison aspect of it was what they added when they took over, but it was something else before?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And the thing how you said with the Ancient Kingdom too, with the whole sun thing, like if it already was like that, where like it's like the only place in the world that always has the sun. I think Preach and I, like, I don't know if we're gonna be collabing or if he'll just make it, but we do have like upcoming. It's part of like the whole Mu theory, like the whole Jumbo huge theory. But like one of the parts is gonna be on how the Ancient Kingdom had an energy source, basically just like literally just the sun. And I think we see in the beginning of Egghead where I think it's what's her name, the girl Vegapunk, the first one.
Lilith?
Lilith. Yeah. Lilith was like, the energy source that if we had like fire or something, I think she says, or like sun, then we can pretty much like power up everything and we would have unlimited energy. And I think the energy that they used back in the day that Vegapunk is trying to recreate was just pretty much just from the sun, or maybe they created their own sun or something. And there's also to connect it with Mu, there's like I think there's a Japanese movie called Atragon, and in that movie there's an empire of Mu, and it's literally just based on the book that I read. But in like the whole science fiction kind of thing, the people of Mu lived underground or underwater, I think, and they created an artificial sun. So I was thinking to Preach, maybe the actual Ancient Kingdom in One Piece also created an artificial sun, or maybe that at the very least they used the sun energy just to power up everything that they power up all their technology and stuff. So yeah, I definitely do think Enies Lobby could be connected to that.
It leads me to ask, do you think that Luffy will become a sun by the end of it? Do you reckon there'll be some sort of like maybe not self-sacrifice, but do you reckon he'll like create some sort of huge energy source or a sun or anything like that?
Well, that also goes into another theory that I gotta make pretty soon too, but I don't think it's actually gonna be Luffy. I actually think it's gonna be Sabo who does that, because he has like the fire fruit, and I feel like if he awakens that, it's gonna pretty much produce what Lilith was talking about, like an unlimited amount of fire energy. And if you take a look at Sabo too, I don't find it a coincidence that Sabo and Ace are Luffy's brothers, and Ace had the will of D. He's also Roger's son. A lot of people thought Ace was supposed to be Joy Boy, so I don't know. I just feel like the fire fruit was really important. Also, I've seen some people say that maybe Rox had the fire fruit, and because he has like the little rock skull, he has like a fire-looking thing coming out of his head or something, like a flame.
Oh,
So yeah, there's also that. Yeah. And then the other thing with the fire fruit too is that if you take a look at in Wano, I talk about this in my Joy Boy video, I'm pretty sure, but they don't call Joy Boy the sun god, instead they call him the fire god. And it looks like Joy Boy, like it looks like Gear 4, but just the fact that they call it the fire god, I feel like maybe Ace and Sabo have some sort of fire god fruit, or I don't know. I just feel like that fruit's somehow connected to the Void Century somehow.
I think it was Hyogoro in Wano when he saw Luffy go Bounce Man or Snake Man in the performance floor before everyone got split up. He literally called him like the fire god.
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's
yeah.
also something that
And-
you made me think of something. Vegapunk talks about wanting eternal flame to resource. Think of it. Ace uses his flame
Yeah.
fruit to power his own ship.
And the
Oh,
the striker.
damn, that's
yeah.
true.
I mean, my
Yeah,
theory,
That is true.
my theory that I spit, like, I think it was like literally the first stream I was ever. I was a guest. I wasn't even a part of TLA yet, but the first stream I was ever on with TLA was like a theory cook-off, and I remember saying like that I thought that the eternal flame or whatever, like it's basically like a bunch of Lunarians. And originally they only had like access to like one Lunarian, and Vegapunk was able to clone it, and like and then it could be like a because we were talking about god fruits and things like that. Like, what if like none of the fruits? This is like super tinfoil again, but like, if there's like a tie to like whatever the first Lunarian was with Ace's or Sabo's fruit, you know?
I could definitely see that, yeah. Because I mean, what's their nickname? Like the something with the flame, right? Like King of the Wildfire or something. So yeah, like I mean, they basically have an eternal flame too. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we don't know if it never runs out, but like it's always there as long as they're alive. So
Well, the thing
agree
is
with that a
that
little, for sure.
if a flame is kind of like we were talking about this with Middleway as well, is that like with Fishman Karate, do you believe that that has anything to do with hockey and stuff like that? And like we also see Minks have Electro, and then we see that the Lunarians have like the fire.
Yeah.
If it's at all tied to their will, and then like or dreams even, like, and dreams never die according to Blackbeard. Like it's like if you were to like somehow harness the inherited will of Lunarians, potentially an entire extinct race of Lunarians, that could like be like an eternal flame, you know? I don't know, something like that.
Well,
But
to
again,
add on
it's-
to that too, I mean, I think it definitely could be hockey too, because Shanks was also described by Oda. We haven't seen it yet, but he's described to have like a flaming sword or something, or a burning sword. So I think there's something with hockey and like the elements for sure. And we saw Kaido use the Thunder Bagua, not just the Minks use it. Or Luffy used what's the move
Elthor.
called? Fire.
And then like
Elthor too.
red rock and
Red-
like
Yeah, the Reds.
so
Yeah,
it's
so for sure it could be tied to hockey somehow. I agree with that.
I'm just going to quickly say I've got to bounce, but always been an absolute pleasure. I'll catch up with you after at some point, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come on, you guys. Yeah, but
Pleasure, dude.
for sure, just let me know anything, man. Yeah.
Yeah, first of
You know
many.
what?
Hopefully, we'll have to bring you back on. But yeah, everyone, make sure you go check out Den Kushi.
sure.
He's been spitting like crazy spice, tons and tons of.
towards the new channel, definitely.
Absolutely do that as
Thank you,
well.
bro, thank you.
Like but yeah,
you know
it's,
what? You actually
go ahead.
you're blowing my mind about Rocks having the mirror, because it's something that always bothered me. Is that speech at the Colosseum about the mirror? The way he described it to be like a fruit unique of its own. Well, it was a powerful fruit, but I was like, damn, the mirror is really that powerful. The way he describes it, a fruit that can take out battleships, like unstoppable, and used to be willed by the second commander. What if it's like he's not just talking about Ace, he talked about like maybe even the previous user, you know? And when you think of, the God Valley
Man.
flashback we got, it's very similar to Dressrosa Coliseum game, the hunting game. There are some similarities to
Oh
it,
man.
So when you think about
yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Wait.
That's
Yeah.
That's good, bro. That's good.
And
Ooh.
both have Delphi as prizes.
Yeah. God damn.
That's what.
That
Man,
is
yeah,
so
That's
good.
why I was.
No, that's really good, bro. Holy cow. I didn't even think of this stuff. I'm gonna have to add that in for sure, man.
I know. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you guys heard it here first.
I wonder, do you think Rox got it then, or do you think he already had it?
I
Because
think he
like
got
how you
it.
said, like the parallels with God Valley. Yeah, I think he probably already had
Yeah, it would be
just because
The
the flame.
perfect reversal.
Yeah, true.
Them Dressrosa, they're going to the mirror. The mirror goes to them. Rocks, but literally being that type of person.
Yeah.
You know what? I always thought he had the Gura on. The only times Sengoku mentions the word someone to destroy the world or be on top of the world was for the Gura and rocks. So I always felt like he had the Gura before Whitebeard. Like Whitebeard might have eaten just afterwards.
It's an interesting theory, but specifically when they were talking about the Gura, he said it is the most destructive paramecia type. So I think that there obviously have to be like different from Logias and from Zoans, rivaling like levels of power and destructivity, and like we see that like
true.
There's only a few devil fruit that have like nicknames like that. Like we heard that the Ope Ope no Mi Lost fruit is literally referred to as the ultimate devil fruit, which is crazy. Yep. And then the Nika power is described as the most ridiculous power. And then I think the Yami also has like kind of like an epithet where it's referred to as like the most dangerous Logia or something. But like there's only a few devil fruit, like a handful, that have like those like kind of like shorthand epithets aside from their actual names. And I think we really need to pay attention to those.
Yeah, also I would like to put that, this, as we don't know what his devil fruit is, but I'm still a big believer on how, Whitebeard's title comes from his fruit, world's strongest man, because of the Gura. I believe the worst criminal in the world, Dragon, I think it's because of his fruit. Like the statement of worst is because of the worst fruit to deal with and everything. Like it's not he's the worst criminal, but basically with his fruit it makes him the worst criminal.
It's interesting. I still don't know if I believe that Dragon has a fruit, and like I'm more on board with like you were saying earlier, like elemental like hockey, which I know is like a way classic Parvision theory, and I don't know. I just think that if you're able to, like, if you're a conqueror to the level where your will can affect the world around you, where does that stop? Like where do we draw the lines? Like, and I think that the lines are only drawn by the user's imagination, much like devil fruit powers and things like that. And so if hockey if they've just been saying for like 800 years, oh, hockey can't do that. Hockey can only do these 3 things. And this one's super rare. What if that's just a lie? What if that's just propaganda that the world government has been saying to limit other hockey users? But if Shanks was to know better, if Shanks was to, have seen through that, and for some reason or another, we know that he has convened with Gorosei even. It's really interesting to think that like there is no actual limits to what hockey can do other than one's imagination. It's just that this is what the world has been spoon-fed for 800 years. That's where I'm at with it.
If that's true, do you think like I don't even believe this honestly, but I always see people talking about it. Do you think Shanks could pull out a hockey arm?
Dude, so that's actually something that I like. My thing is like I said, I'm not 100% sure if Saturn is using a devil fruit right now. What if he were just literally like the air or the like water molecules around him, or even just like the sound or something? What if he's just using hockey to like, because we see he's in a pitch black form. And like it was like whenever Demonio Fleur happened in Roof Piece, when Robin was, we were like, is that hockey? Is that hockey? But it turned out in the anime that it wasn't drawn in the same style that hockey was. But like the first thing I thought, I was like, if this isn't a devil fruit, he could literally just be using hockey to like make limbs. Like what if like all of his legs and everything about him is, and like his horns, and what if that's just hockey?
Ooh, that would be insane, bro. That would be pretty. That would make him one of the strongest guys in the world for sure. Then, if that was the case.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. Like hockey is described in 3 different ways. Is you're able to, like strengthen your physical form, or strengthen your mind, or you're able to exert your will onto the world around you. If you were to blend those types of hockey together, then you would be able to potentially strengthen the elements of the world around you. So if he's just literally like hardening, like, we've seen like the vulcanization on people's fists, and like Virgo had full body hockey, and so did Pika and stuff like that. What if it doesn't stop at your own physical form, and you can harden parts of the world or atmosphere or air around you? Like, I think that's that's where I'm on. If it's not a devil fruit, it might be a devil fruit though.
Or
Also-
like I said, like just something else too, like just something we don't even know, like just devil powers or something.
Yeah, so deeper. But I would like to add on the thing of the hockey you're saying, and I just tell people in the world of One Piece, if someone is able to affect like the state of matter, liquid, plasma, those kind of stuff, it would be an impressive feat. When really explains to Luffy hockey, he says to affect a Logia user, you have to use your hockey to solidify the liquid in their body. That is already with hockey already messing around the state of matter, which is, if you think in our world, anyone who have powers to affect the state of matter, the sky's the limit. If you can turn something liquid to solid, like that's power. That's like a god tier ability. So if
Seriously.
people with good hockey can naturally like learn how to do that, if basically that's what you do when you touch a Logia user, any hockey user who are able to touch, let's say, the admirals, the sky's the limit for them, in terms of what they're actually able to do. So the dragon not having a Delph fruit, honestly, I could see it as just, I feel like there's something off about the winds around him. The wind is always in his direction. Nami makes that mention of the wind acting weirdly enough, but I would be open-minded if they can give an explanation, like maybe he believes so much in nature that he's connected to nature.
It goes way deeper with the wind too, because he mentions like the winds of change when he's talking about like with the revolution. And then there's also like in the ASL flashback post Marineford, when we're learning about like Luffy's childhood and like Sabo for the first time and things like that. When Dragon shows up in the Goa Kingdom, literally the name of the chapter is called The Will of the Wind. And like that's like such a crazy pull. When I went back and reread that, I was just like, ain't no way, dude. Like, and that's why I was saying, like, if it's a devil fruit, cool, but I'm more on that it's hockey, because the will of the wind, what is will? Like, hockey is the manifestation of somebody's will. Exactly. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't know if I believe that that Dragon specifically has a devil fruit. Same with Saturn. I think that the true like top powers of this world, like, and Kaido even confirmed, and Kaido is like the guy who we have to bet on one-on-one. And Kaido said Roger made it to the top with just hockey. So I don't know, man.
That's true.
To defend my whole point of Dragon having to win Logia, but I do agree on your thing. It's just if he doesn't have Delph fruits, I could see it in that option as well. We know that the win Logia in the world of One Piece has to be a thing, right? So someone needs to have it at one point. And when Logia were introduced was Locktown. Who else was introduced in Locktown? Dragon. That's why I feel like the win Logia has to be somewhere. So that's why right now Dragon is the only one that could be a candidate. But this idea of your Vex, I do like it a lot, because I don't want it to be this unique mythical zone, those kind of stuff. If it's not win Logia or something like that could be easily used in the themes, I would also like the whole hockey thing, because we need to understand how people like Roger could counter someone like Whitebeard who has hockey and the Gura. They need to explain like the intensity of their hockey. So that's why I would not have I wouldn't be against Dragon not having hockey, considering Garb doesn't have Delphoid, considering Garb doesn't even have a Delphoid himself. So.
And I mean, it even could just be that he has like a simple devil fruit, but he's using his hockey to make it cracked in such a way, because we see that like post time skip, like Luffy had hockey training, but like Rayleigh was like, I'm just going to show you the basics, like on Ruskaina. And like he could have gone Gear 4th against Caesar. He could have, like, through Fishman Island and Punk Hazard, he literally could have gone Gear 4th against Hody, because we see in flashbacks, he's like, yo, I got this new thing I've been working on. And Rayleigh literally like saw Gear 4th before any of us did in the flashback, but he didn't need to pull it out until, and that's the thing is he was still working on training his hockey. He was still working on things. And it wasn't until he upped his observation game to the point of future sight that he was able to like truly harness the full potential of Snake Man. But he could have gone Snake Man before. It just wouldn't have been as effective, because he wouldn't be able to keep up like with his own speed, like mentally. So he had to mentally catch, his hockey had to keep catching up. And it was like, I think that the thing is if his hockey was fully trained during the time skip, he could have gone Gear 5, way sooner and things like that. And the thing is like, Dragon is the only Monkey D in his prime right now. And I know like Kube has been saying that, and like whatever this dude has in his bag, he has to be like a hockey master. What if he just had a really basic normal devil fruit, but he was just able to make it more cracked with hockey is another thing that I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm surprised
And
more
actually,
people don't do that too.
Honestly, like, well, Doflamingo is the prime example. He awakened his fruit. And
True.
we learned that like from Kaido as well, that awakening is like when your body, your will, and your devil fruit are all like in like peak, you know, like unison. They all catch up to each other and shit like that. So it's like it's like Doflamingo, in my opinion, is like the best example of using just kind of a mundane fruit. Like you wouldn't really think that it's like anything super, super special. And then you see what Doflamingo is able to do with it. And you're just like, holy shit. Like, like
True.
Think of katakuri even. Katakuri uses a fruit that's a dessert and makes it like so OP that even Luffy had like to, and Luffy has like, let's not lie, on paper characteristic, I think at the time the Gomu would have like more advantages, but weirdly enough, the Moshi was undoing him, you know?
Yeah, and I think other than Zoans, those are the only two confirmed Awakened users, correct? I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's Law and Kid as well, but
yeah.
But again, that's
but that's,
ridiculously cracked like usages of your fruits, like so, and Law and Kid, like we know Kid has Conqueror's Haki, and Law has Haki strong enough to be able to cancel out other Paramecia's powers, like he did against Doc Q. So again, significant amounts of Haki being used, although I think Law has probably the most cracked fruit we've ever seen so far. Like I don't know, it's still he has Haki proficiency. Seriously. Yeah, so I'm fully convinced that like even with like a little mundane fruit, Haki can get you there, you know. Absolutely. So I don't know if Dragon needs to have like, I mean obviously it's being set up that way, but like if he doesn't have a Wind Logia and just has like kind of like a normal fruit, like I'd be fine with that as well.
Yeah, I would be fine. I'd rather, for me, if it's not a Wind Logia, I'd rather have your options than starting going on the whole mythical Zoan. He is this god, this Native American god. Like, dude, we don't need to go through this, you know? But yeah.
It can get overused
actually,
for sure. The mythical zone thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the clone piece at one point. People were calling everyone being a clone. I'm like, oh my
everyone.
God. Yeah. So
actually, this too with hockey. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's actually something that you were talking about, Phil Joy Boy. And something, it came to me weirdly enough yesterday. So I said I will bring it up on the stream. Might talk to Daniel about doing a script, but I realized the stuff we know about Joy Boy and Wano, right, was Pluton. He was supposed to save the village, the island, and he was going to come with a group of people, right? Isn't that similar to Planetopia of Crocodile? He came with Baroque Works to get Pluton, and he kind of oppressed the people, and he said he was going to be on top of the world. So now my question is this. I'm wondering if Crocodile knew a version of that story and tried to do it himself.
Ooh.
That
would be really interesting. Yeah. I never thought of that.
Planetopia was his version of the Joy Boy thing, but he knows it badly, a bit like Kaido, so he's doing it his own, which he's doing it badly. Thus he failed. That was what I was going to brought up. Crocodile. Another failed Joy Boy.
Yeah. Could be too. And it seems very likely that Alabasta is connected to Luffy and like just to the Sun God Nika too. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, honestly, to think about.
Yeah.
And one thing with hockey too, I was gonna say, how you were saying how basically you're basically saying hockey doesn't really have limits too, right? Like it's just like maybe the goal is to trick people into thinking, oh, you can only do these 3 types instead of, oh, maybe you can do like 10 types of hockey, right?
Yeah.
So I was basically gonna think like with Garp though, like we see, bro, like I feel like after Garp, it's like I don't even know where hockey is going at this point because I feel like it can just almost do anything because I was never expecting such a thing like Galaxy Fist or Galaxy Impact, whatever it's called. So maybe if you truly practice your hockey, or if you try to even think outside the box with it, maybe you really can do a lot more than we think you can do, honestly.
Sorry, I'm putting a poll in the chat right now because I wanna see where everybody's at with it. Is what do y'all think Dragon's true power is? And I know what Cody's gonna vote for, I think, but is it, you think it's a win Logia? You think it's hockey mastery? Do you think it's a mythical Zoan? Or do you think that
voted. I can see he already voted.
his subordinates
for sure.
is do you think his true strength is in his subordinates and not in himself? But I think like so like Cody is just slandering this man. But I think that I don't know. I just like there needs to be so much more on Devil Fruits, obviously. Like, and we're in the arc where I feel like we should have gotten that from Vegapunk, and we got a little bit, but it was kind of like Oda teasing us, you know, like and like so a lot of people think that Vegapunk might not make it off this island, and I'm like, who else is really going to tell us about Devil Fruits, like what we need to know? But I think as much as like we still need from Devil Fruits, I think we need more from Hockey. Like Hockey is, I don't know, that's where I've been for like a while. I need to know more about like, I don't know. And like, I just feel like if it gets too much further in without us getting it, like specifically, I think we might get it from like Rocks, and that might be why he's holding off. Like we could have got more from Kaido's flashback, but it would have gotten too close to Rocks information, and Oda doesn't want us to have that information yet.
For sure.
And so like in the whole God Valley situation, we could have gotten more from Garp or like Roger or even, you know, Rocks, because all of them were there, but he didn't want to give us that specifically. We only saw it through the eyes of the slaves and whatnot. And like we can assume there were more than one Gorosei there, but the only one that we saw was Saturn, and that's because that's the only thing that's in the scope of the story right now, present day. But the further we get into the story, the more of these like flashback bits we're probably going to get. So I mean, like, do you guys think that when we do finally get like, I'm convinced that Vegapunk is probably going to be the person who tells us about Devil Fruits, but what do you guys think about who's going to be the person that really gives us like the Hockey? Like, will it be Dragon or will it be Rocks, like once we finally get that flashback?
For Devil Fruits, I'm gonna say this, like, if we don't learn it from Vegapunk, I'm just gonna say we're learning it from like the Void Century flashback, because I don't know who else. I don't know like why Oda wouldn't just tell us with Vegapunk, and if he's not gonna tell us everything with Vegapunk, then I would just think he just doesn't want us to know yet. So that would be my guess on that. And then with Hockey, I honestly really think that possibly, I think Luffy at the very least, and Zoro and Sanji, I would say those three at the very least are gonna get a huge Hockey boost in Elbaf. So if Shanks is in Elbaf, I think that could be the arc where we actually learn a lot about Hockey. And I think honestly, just whenever they meet Shanks, I would assume they have to learn about Hockey, because it's kind of implied that like none of his crew members have, or at least none of the main crew has Devil Fruit. So I would assume they're all in their own way kind of like Hockey gods. Like even Usopp's dad, I would assume at the very least he and Beckman probably use like Hockey bullets or Hockey sniper techniques or something. So that's what I would think, honestly. Yeah,
I agree. I definitely agree that if it's not before Shanks has to be the guy. But I don't think they're gonna meet him in Elbaf though, because he wasn't leaving whenever Kid showed up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's
Cube,
true.
Cube, what do you think though? Who's gonna give us like the full reveal on like maybe like Devil Fruit and then Hockey? If like, do you think it's gonna be one character that gives us both, or do you think?
No, I think it's, well, for the Devil Fruit, I think it's a twist. I think it's two people. I think we'll get it through Vegapunk, but also connect to a flashback with Clover. And I find very interesting what Vegapunk said about Clover, how he was so inspiring, and we know Clover knows so much stuff. So I think Devil Fruit, the understanding of Devil Fruit, Vegapunk will explain it. However, I think the component of desire in this world will be explained through what Clover told him. Because there's something about it at that moment where the way he talked, he was so inspired. He was a crazy man, arrested over 10 times. You know,
it could be Saul too, like, because Saul doesn't Saul have the texts that Clover was reading? So like that's so crazy too.
Yeah.
Oh and man.
I think everything's gonna be in Elbaf, because I think those who are gonna explain Luffy how to really use Hockey is the Giants. Don't you find it interesting that Big Mom, Kaido, and I'll say this, Shanks and Roger, Divine Departure and their Think Sovereignty attack is very similar to Dorian Broggy's fighting style.
Yeah.
So I think in Elbaf, and we know in Wano, they learn about Rio. I think in Elbaf, they understand the concept of conquerors. They have a deep learning, and because think about it, conquerors is so limited in the world. But what if in Elbaf, a conqueror is something that's very easy to found upon between giants who fight all the time? You might, instead of having like 5% of all hockey users in Elbaf knowing conquerors hockey, maybe you've got 10%. That's double the percentage in the rest of the world. You know, it's not that much still, but it's more. You know, so I think the giants of Elbaf might help more with that aspect of hockey.
Yeah.
That's super
if anyone had
interesting.
if any race had the most conquerors users, I would bet on the Elbaf giants, because that's
I
that's
probably
what they
would
do.
too. Yeah.
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 No, Tontadas for sure.
But,
No.
Like I said, all roads lead to Elbaf, guys. We've been saying it. All roads lead to Elbaf. It's the Sabaudi of the post time skip for me. It's going to be, you know, like where so much information, instead of people, it'll be where everything kind of reconnects in one go, you know.
I hope so. I just like
Yeah.
for me specifically, I don't know. Like I hope we go there, but I was bringing this up with Par during the stream of Liberation. I was like, there's a lot of people who've been thinking that we might not actually go to Elbaf, or like it might get like could you see Oda off screening Elbaf? Like,
No.
I think we're going for sure. Like, and I think it's gonna be a big arc too. Like, maybe not Wano big, but I would say like around this, at least like 50 to 70 chapters at least. I would assume.
I want to
would
see like
hope
a
so, at
whole.
least.
I want to see like a whole Dressrosa, like maybe not Wano big, but big. You know, like give me 100 chapters on that. Like,
Yeah.
I also just don't want
Same.
One Piece to end, and I know once we go there,
Yeah.
it's just that much closer. You know, that's why I'm over here like 50 more chapters of Egghead. Like let's go.
For real.
No,
I don't know.
No, Elbaf. It'll be good. I think it'll be a great arc, Elbaf. I think they've been taking reader. He's been taking his time with it, you know. And look at what
For
he did with
sure.
Wano. Look at how he did
True.
Wano. For me, contrary to what people like, take out the anime out of the question. We talk about the manga in terms of storytelling. Instead of don't even talk about the pacing or the length. In terms of just storytelling in Wano, it's perfection. You know, the amount of lore we get from Wano. So I'm not scared for Elbaf.
Seriously.
I'm sorry, my dog's barking in the background. She's hyped. She says, "What's up?" Rosie says, "Hey." But no, yeah, I think
sure.
that I really do hope that we go to I hope we stay on Egghead for long enough for us to get what we need from Vegapunk and like the rest of whatever they called it, the siege barricade incident. Like I hope we get like all of that, because there were parts of Egghead that did get kind of just like off screened, and like that worried me and apparently a lot of other people in the community, because I'm not the only person who was thinking like maybe we don't get Elbaf the way we thought we did. But I really hope we get a good amount from Egghead still. I don't think it's wrapping up like in like one chapter, like somebody put in the chat earlier. I think 20 at least, and then from Elbaf, I'm hoping for like 100. I really want like a big arc.
Same.
Yeah, like a huge arc. But I know you're gonna have to be leaving pretty soon, Ors. So if we wanted to go into maybe like one final question, Cube, you got anything?
Honestly, this is something I wanted to. I have a question, and it's one theory I like that you and Preach at the time did, is the whole Ganfall and the Gorosei resemblance. And ever since it's very interesting. And the more I've been looking at it, for me, he's very sus. Especially like he actually to Cobra acknowledged that there was an ancient kingdom, while with Saturn they didn't even want to admit to Clover that there was an ancient kingdom. But he talked about the issue of the previous dynasty, in which everyone brushed up. So do you think there is more with him? Because it's true that there's a huge resemblance to Ganfall. Do you think like he'll have a more importance, or maybe another Gorosei question?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think whenever the Skypeans come back, because I would assume they're also going to eventually come back. But I think when they do come back, Ganfall, something huge is going to be revealed about him. And I don't know if Preach said in the video if he was a Gorosei necessarily, but I think at the very least he was a Celestial Dragon. And he could possibly be one of the guys that reveals a lot on like the celestial dragons and stuff. And I don't know, it just seems there's just how you said there's like too many connections with it, and he also doesn't have wings. Like I don't know, he has to know something pretty big. Like at least that's what I would think.
There's something because you made me think. There are two things about it. First of all, he hasn't aged in 25 years. You guys said, but also interesting about it is he's the only one where we in the Odin flashback where Roger we don't get introduction. We see him middle of a discussion. In every other one of them, he comes, "Hey Tom, how are you?" With him, they're middle of discussion, showing the poneglyphs, which I find interesting. Maybe they knew each other before even he came there. So yeah,
man. Oh man, maybe he knew him from God Valley or something.
That would be crazy. Something like that. Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Man,
that was my question.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I think like once we get them, like I said, once we get this guy Peons back, I think for sure we're gonna learn something on Gonfall. Maybe some backstory of his in the Blue Sea, and yeah, I can definitely see it happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I had one last like little thing I wanted to touch on as well. Excellent question, Kube. I was wondering, Ors, are you any into the anime, or are you just a manga reader? Like, or do you keep up with it? Like, I'm saying, man, you gotta check out everything since Gear 5 has been built entirely different, and I like they did post Wano a lot more justice, I think, than the panels did, because a lot of people did not really like. They felt like it was too rushed with post Wano. And then like the start of Egghead has been absolutely gas. So I mean, but if you were to check it out, like even just for like the fight scenes or something like that, what that we've seen so far from Egghead would be like what you would be like, what do you think would get you to definitely watch the anime for like an episode or two? Like, did you watch the Gear 5 episode?
Oh no, I mean I love the anime, bro. Like I love, probably not as much as the manga, but I started out with the anime, so I think the only reason I even read the manga was just because Dressrosa was taking like way too long in the anime. And that's like, you if you saw Dressrosa in the anime, you know what I mean, but it was taking way too long, and that's when I started reading the manga. But other than that, I love the anime, and something in Egghead, man, I honestly can't wait for all of it, but the thing that I want to see the most is just how they're gonna animate Garp and Galaxy Impact. I can't wait. I'm probably gonna live react to that episode. That's gonna be crazy.
Oh, looking forward to it. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Orz's new channel so you can catch that live reaction. We did have also one last super chat really quick from Mr. Bushido with another €2 who said, question, where does Cross Guild get their money from? Buggy was like super profitable with what he had going on, and then like Crocodile also had a ton of funds for the whole Utopia thing, and then Mihawk also had an entire mansion. So I mean, who knows, really. We had another last minute super chat from Mr. Bushido saying Moria shows and takes Kuma and S-Bear's shadow. I really hope Moria becomes important, because he was brought up like with the whole Perona and Kobe situation, but I don't know how much I'm betting on him doing anything now. Maybe like later, like I don't, in like a flashback or a cover story. Like I see that being cover story stuff in my opinion. Go ahead, Cube.
Moria is my Roman Empire. People want to know to come back. I want Moria because people don't realize it's very rare in a one-on-one piece in the Grand Line to have one great pirate crew. Moria made two. One was decimated by Kaido, then the new one that was in Thriller Bark. It was still powerful enough. Like people think that Luffy defeated him, but it wasn't an easy task. He was still, at a certain level. So yeah, Moria has to come back.
Moria honestly he like defeated himself too. Like if he just wasn't like overconfident and stuff, he probably would have killed Luffy, honestly. And what do you guys think about this with Moria? Do you guys think there's a chance he somehow like revives someone from the past again, like maybe Rox or Roger or someone like that? Maybe Whitebeard.
I think that would be interesting. I don't know if like it's got to be something, but I think like if it's gonna be this late in the story, I don't know if we need to get like Rox like that or Roger like that, Whitebeard would be crazy. And then like there's also like the looming threat of like how many other Seraphim could there be? You know what I mean? Like, is there gonna be like an S Roger or like an S like an S like Whitebeard or like S Newgate or whatever it is, like a S Edward? I don't know, but it's like it's crazy.
Yeah,
bro. Yes, that's perfect. But like, so it's in that same kind of line of thinking where you're just like, man, we have no idea, because either one of those is a possibility, but it's just whatever Oda needs for the narrative. You know what I mean? And
but I will say this: Ors, when he was brought back, he was confused, right? He seemed not to have his memories. Ryuma also didn't have his past memories as well. He just knew that he was Ryuma. Right now, Moria is captured on the island, the same island where there's what? Pudding, who has the memory fruit. I just feel like those two combination together on that same island is not a coincidence. There's something, because he has two sides, the body and the mind. You know, if fruits has memories, maybe that's how you can bring back some of the. Maybe you have to as well, not just their body, you know, their spirit.
Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up now, guys. I just wanted to say, like, thank you so much for spitting, for sharing, for giving us a first taste at what's to come from your new channel. Congratulations on a very successful first video, and you're already over 500, so you're approaching 1,000, and that is really fast there. Like, I know it feels like a lot slower, but that is crazy, because as somebody who has like his own channel that I've been trying to start up, it's taken me quite a while. But we really appreciate you coming on. This is your first stream after leaving Preach's channel, right?
I think, technically, ever since, it should be ever since posting my last video, at least. Yeah. So we, like I said, for real, we appreciate it so much. We were all huge fans, and like I said at the beginning of the stream, and then as well in Kube as well, like that Orz's Joy Boy video is like where a lot of us kind of started on our journeys. And if we were already, you know, in the theory, you know, verse and stuff like that, that's just what really lit a fire under our asses as far as getting more content out there. And, you know, like you've just been such a big part of the community for such a while. It's great to see you starting your own channel, and it's great for us to have you on and for us to spit with you. It's been so much fun. Everybody, please make sure you go sub to Orz's new channel. Check out his first video on that channel. Links in the description on some spice about Shanks and the Gorosei. And then, you know, definitely make sure you turn on the notification bell so you can get whenever he does that live reaction to that episode, once that gets animated, and any other like streams that he's got planned for the future. It's for real. It's been so fun, dude. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, honestly, appreciate it, man.
No, thank you guys so much for reaching out and stuff too. Like, this was a really fun stream, and sorry for not making the last one that you guys told me. I was too busy that day, but thank you guys for telling me about this one too, man. Let me know whenever you guys need anything. I'll try to be there every time that I can be. So thank you guys too for the shout out. And
oh yeah, we appreciate it. We're actually going to be doing another big like mega stream like that, like an all-day thing, so I'll make sure you're one of the first people we hit up, because I remember cooking with you on the Kev DOG, like the charity stream, and that was a blast. And yeah, it's always great to spit with you, brother. And yeah, like once we get that other like mega stream coming soon, then we'll definitely make sure that you're on that list. And we want to especially make sure we focus on people who couldn't really make it to the first one. But if you guys haven't already, check out the Stream of Liberation on our channel here on TLA, because that is so goated. One of the best ways we could have possibly kicked off 2024. And we're still going strong. We've loved having you on. Like I said, like a legend in the community. It's pretty much where it all started for me, is like as whenever I got current. So so stoked to have you on. And then we've also got another legend in the community who will be joining the channel, I believe next Saturday, February 3rd. We're bringing on Brago himself. BDA Law is going to be on the channel with us. So make sure you guys tune in and spit with us on that one. We've got some other like chiller streams planned for in between and whatnot. So we've also got some coverage on Avatar: The Last Airbender. since that live action's coming in, happening soon. So lots of great spice, and we're going to keep it pumping for the rest of 2024. Love you so much, chat. We literally could not do any of this without all of you. You guys are amazing. Y'all make this community what it is, and we love that. And yeah, at that, we're gonna go ahead and dip, and hope that you guys all have a wonderful rest of the day and a happy new year.
See you guys.